Forsaken Frontiers is out now, and so far, the community believes that the game is too difficult for solo play. So I'm here today to prove them wrong. The game has only been out for a few days, so I think the issue is that the solo meta is underdeveloped. And as someone who strongly pushed for solo viability during the playtests, I want to showcase what I've learned so far to hopefully encourage others to push the solo meta with me. If you want to learn more about the game, I've made a few beginner guides to help people get acquainted with the fundamentals before following along or before playing the game for themselves, so check those out if you haven't already. Otherwise, thank you for being here, subscribe if you like what you see, and enjoy the video. The main strategy for solo in Forsaken Frontiers is to make sure that you don't go too far into the map until you're fully geared up. And my ideal loadout as a solo player is 1 bolt cutter, 1 medkit, and 2 adrenaline shots. Bolt cutters are important because they let you open locked doors without having to kick them. So not only are you not notifying enemies, but you're also preserving a door for door slamming that you wouldn't have access to if you kicked a door down. Once I learned that you can door slam enemies to stun them, I realized that kicking down a door is actually just getting rid of a resource. So bolt cutters are good not only to prevent detection, but also to maintain a defensive resource you wouldn't have otherwise. But on top of that, I'd say adrenaline is probably the more important store item for solo play and just aggressive play in general. Adrenaline lets you pick yourself up after you've been downed. So normally in solo play, if you go down, the run is just over because there's no one else to pick you up. But if you have an adrenaline in your inventory, the game doesn't end, and it gives you an option to use this adrenaline before the run's over. So adrenaline's super useful. That's why I buy 2 of them. But the thing is, if you're already hurt and you go down again, then you just die. That's just how it is in base game as well. And that's why the medkit is important, because after you get picked up, you want to make sure you heal yourself back to healthy. So that way you have the opportunity to go down again and use your second adrenaline. This is true for both a solo and multiplayer. It's just a lot more valuable for solo play. Another reason why you wouldn't want to run around hurt is because you move around slower while you're hurt. So it's going to be harder to evade enemies. And specifically, it is going to be a lot more difficult to deal with the Ventress, which is the most dangerous enemy in the game, because the Ventress is the only enemy that's faster than you when you're injured. So you want to stay healthy so you can avoid problems with the Ventress. That said, that inventory is very expensive. Like 2 adrenalines is $550 plus a medkit. That's $670, and plus bolt cutters, that is $870. So we're talking about an $870 loadout. So the difficult part of solo is getting enough money to even be able to afford that loadout in the first place, plus being able to travel to a map that would make it worth it. I'm looking at the hospital. So really, your solo run starts when you're able to make $870 plus the travel fee to hotel, and to be able to go here 3 times. So to go to the hospital 3 times, that'll cost you $1,000 total. So I'll be looking to make $1,870 as fast as possible. I have the strategies to do that, and now it's just about doing it myself. I'm gonna play this solo run, quote unquote, regularly / as is for now. Like as if I were trying to approach this in a base game type of way. And that's gonna be with starting at Metro. I mean, it's the only map that you can afford without going into debt. So it's gonna be 3 days Metro, and we'll see where we go from there. I mean, the starting debt is only $100 or 10,000 debt value, which isn't a lot. But yeah. Okay. I want to see if this is still a thing in this game. So the host usually gets these random desks that spawn in this room here, and sometimes it has loot. Sometimes it has a storage space or a hiding space. But you can only loot this room once, and it's always going to be Metro loot or whatever it spawned in originally. This is unlucky, but it is what it is. But if anyone wanted some cheeky loot, that's one way to do it. Now, the amount of loot I get here doesn't matter as much as me actually surviving here. Locked door. Another tip for solo play, if you come across a locked door, don't kick it if you don't have to. Just go around and find out your different paths first, and if you absolutely must, then you can go back and kick it. But as we've said already, like kicking down a door, especially in solo play, is basically a death sentence, and I'd rather not die on my first day. I mean, if I died right now, I'd just write it off as a warm-up. We go again. It's not that big of a deal when you die on day 1. You can just start over. But I'd say I have a pretty good start here. Got 2 loot rooms immediately. We got $83 off rip. Can almost pay off the debt. No danger so far, no breathing. Look at solo, but my friends always use me as bait. You know, it's the cool part. What I like doing in multiplayer, if I'm the one that has to deal with the monsters, I just use that as an opportunity to try and run them for as long as possible, because for as long as they are aggroed on me, they are not aggroed on my friends. And if my friends can make up for my lack of not looting while I distract the monsters, then that would be cool. This is an unlucky loot room, by the way. How's it going, Harmonica? Good to see you. I'm also right hugging right now because I know I said in my Forsaken Frontiers videos that it's not ideal to backtrack to the train, but in solo play it's something that it's an option that you're going to have to consider, especially in the early game when you don't have like your medkits and adrenaline. Because if I go down now, the run's just over and then I don't get to bring any. I'm breathing now. I think it's a shambler, because I would have heard chainsaw guy or spider already. I don't hear that. Shambler is also a death sentence if you find them in solo, because they just alert all the enemies to your position, and that is exactly what you do not want. So, like I said, the first deadline is kind of just to see what I can get to help me along my way. But I'm not really trying to max out here on the first deadline. Not yet, anyway. When I start I'm gonna start maxing out on the second deadline, and it's because of the strategy that I have in mind to help me get geared up by the second deadline. And my strategy is to intentionally fail my first deadline, so that way I can go to the Pentagon right away. Wait, I'm going on push talk, man. I'm playing solo. Another tip to play solo, go on voice activation. Spider won't hear you talk. Spider won't hear you scream. And I saw in the patch notes today that the spider can now hear you if you talk under a desk. On release, the spider couldn't hear you while talking under the desk, but that wasn't intentional, so they can now hear you. So if anyone was wondering why they couldn't hear you before and they can hear you now, that's exactly why. Does the breathing mean there's a monster nearby, or does it happen when you run? Both. So there's two different types of breathing. One of them is it tells you that there's a monster within earshot. And since I wasn't running, I was able to know that that was the type of running, or that was the type of breathing. The other type of breathing helps you determine how much stamina you have left, because you start breathing harder the less stamina you have available to you. The breathings have different cadences, and so like after listening to both of them for a while, you'll be able to differentiate. But the easiest way to differentiate between what type of breath it is to just stop running, because your stamina breath will eventually stop, and if you're still breathing while you're standing, then it's because there's a monster nearby. That said, you should note if you are on a dread modifier, because if you are on the dread modifier, you will just be doing the monster breathing for the entire day, because it's and that's intended to make it difficult for you to know if an enemy is nearby or not. But most of the time, I'm not using the breath mechanic to tell if a monster is near me, because most of the time, I will hear either the chainsaw or the butcher laughing, or the spider kind of making his noises before I even notice the breath mechanic, because those are a little bit louder. The breath mechanic is more useful for knowing if a shambler is near you. Okay. I'm a little worried now about where the position of this shambler is. And I have to try to remember to get back now. Oh, it looks like we're okay. How's it going, my coof? But yeah, I got $190 right now. I think I'm gonna start making my way back, actually. My day's mostly just getting started. Okay. Let's go. We can run now. And we just leave immediately. So I already have enough to pay off the debt. But like I said, I'm not gonna worry too much about that. We can throw this in here for now. And we'll just leave it there. There's no real point in me doing this in solo, other than being able to track how much I get per day. I'm not going to sell just yet. I'm not selling at 60%. I'm going to try to maximize my value because, like I said, I'm going to try to get a full loadout by the second deadline. So yeah, just going to check out any modifiers, see if there's anything here. The ideal modifier on this first deadline is to get surplus on Metro, so that, especially on day 3, where the remaining value will be at its lowest. The 81% remaining value is fine as well. I'm giving hyperfixation. I mean, I like the attention to detail, and just knowing all these little tips and tricks can really help with your survivability in this game. It doesn't seem like there's a lot going on at face value, but every little like micro detail. Okay, see, an enemy is kicking down a door somewhere already. I'm gonna be a little careful here. Another tip, if you do encounter an enemy, especially a butcher or a spider, or actually just any enemy in general other than the Ventress, if you can get behind them and just go the way that they came from, that is one way to basically guarantee that you'll find progress in the map. Because the monsters don't spawn in dead ends as far as I can tell. So if you can get behind them, you'll be able to go very deep into the map, and generally pretty safely since you have at least one enemy behind you. And at that point, I'm not even opening doors anymore. I'm just walking through the open ones, because those are the doors that they have walked through. And it's just deeper progress regardless, as long as you keep doing that. Now, I'm not entirely sure which direction that door kick came from. I just know that it didn't come from me. I hate the Shamblers, yeah. Because you can get behind both the Butcher and the Spider, but that doesn't matter if there's a Shambler in front of you. And the Shambler is the only enemy that, well, other than the Forsaken, that there are multiple of. Like, by default, there are 2 Shamblers on the map. And if there's a Butcher, that means there's 3, because there's one Shambler that's always in the Butcher room. Which we'll get to if I ever find one. But the Butcher always spawns in the Butcher room too, so if you find a Butcher room, you should know that you can tell that the Butcher is somewhere behind you, or they went deeper into the map if you didn't encounter them yet. So even if you get past one Shambler, you still have to be careful of the second one. The ideal scenario is that you see both Shamblers, and you get behind them. Because then you're basically home free until the Ventress spawns in. And the Ventress spawns in at different times depending on what map you're on. So since I'm on Metro, the Ventress doesn't spawn until 5 PM. That's kind of like and they made it that late because, you know, the Metro is supposed to be the easiest map in the game. And if the Ventress was like... One second, I think I heard the spider. Might be tripping though. Ventress spawns in at 5 PM, so you're kind of free to navigate the map until then. After that, you kind of have to be a little bit more wary. And then as you go to the higher tier maps, the Ventress spawns in earlier and earlier. Like, I think the Ventress spawns in on the hotel. Like, am I stuck crouched? Oh no. Okay, there we go. The Ventress spawns in at the hotel at 12 PM. No, sorry, 2 PM. At the I think at the hospital at 10 AM or noon. I'm trying to confirm these times again because the Ventress spawn times have changed since the playtest, or through the different variations of the playtest, so I don't have them entirely memorized anymore. The only thing that I have memorized is that it's 5 PM on Metro, sometime in the mid-afternoon on Hotel, and very early on Hospital tunnels, and instantly on the Pentagon. How's it going, Cosmo? New guide is fire. Glad you enjoyed it. I really think that, you know, understanding how the money in this game works is super important. And also just kind of like low-key and unnecessary difficulty in trying to understand how like debt and money works. Like, I'm not entirely sure why there are 2 extra zeros in the debt, but it just is that way for now. And I think the quicker people can understand that, the quicker they can kind of get over that pain point and just start enjoying the game. Okay. This might be time to start turning back, low-key. Okay, a door opened behind me. Wait, does it open right there? I don't want it to open right there. Oh, it opened right here. It's the Shambler. So, the Shamblers are deaf. I think I gotta get out. Wait, that door's... Oh, I didn't open that. So there's gotta be something over there. That or it went that way. That would actually be ideal. But I don't know for sure, so not yet anyway. But it's for sure a Shambler because I don't hear any indicator of Spider or Butcher. Is every monster guaranteed every time? Not every monster. Every monster that's on the map is guaranteed at some point. So... But I mean, the only difference in monsters is on the hospital, there's no Butcher. There's Forsaken instead. And there's no Forsaken on any maps other than the hospital and the Pentagon. At least for now. And then Ventress spawns are different based on the map that you went to. But every monster every monster that's supposed to be there spawns on the map. If that... Actually, I don't know yet. I'm gonna walk this way. I think I'm gonna just start making my way back. I got 137, this is plenty. I heard them kick open a locked door. Let me see, if this door is kicked down, then this is where they're at. I'm pretty sure I did that though. Okay, yeah, they went that way. I heard a door open that way. So I think we're safe for now. But I mean, that just goes to show how important audio cues are, because if I was playing a lot more aggressively, I probably would have just ran into that Shambler, right? Because I would have made it deeper into the map faster, and I would have just ran head on into that Shambler if he came from the direction that I think he came from. And in solo play, that's kind of just a death sentence. Alright, peace out, Demon Fox. Good luck with your essay. Glad you're enjoying the game so far. I'll be uploading this solo run to YouTube at some point. Oh, tomorrow, actually. So I'm hoping to go on enough of a run for it to be YouTube worthy. That's a locked door. Like I said, no need to kick them. And we'll go. I mean, this one might be worth kicking just because I'm so close to the entrance already. And if I get here any danger, I just run. I think I'm gonna do that. It's 4:30 though, so if I do this, I should do this now. Because Ventress can spawn in like... Okay, yeah. Not worth it. Well, I mean, it was worth it because now I know for sure that I'm not missing any loot. But now we run. Ventress gonna spawn in soon. We can go. $140. Drop that there. We got 330 for the day. Or for now. Ooh! We get Shadow Step. Shadow Step is not bad. So Shadow Step is one of the best modifiers, actually. I'd like to put it that way. Because what Shadow Step does is it makes it so that your footsteps are silent. So you can basically run for the entire map. There's no point in stealthing unless you're trying to not get spotted by the Butcher or Shambler. The Spider will not hear your footsteps, and neither will the Butcher, and neither will the Ventress. So you can be very, very safe in Shadow Step. I would have liked to see Surplus instead, because I'm now getting Shadow Step on a Metro that's only worth 65% value, which isn't fantastic. Surplus would ignore the remaining value here and just maximize the loot available on the map. So I would have loved to have seen that. But you know, I'll take this instead. That's fine. I'll take a positive modifier over a negative one. So let's go. We can run now. We are free to run. We get immediate loot room also, which is nice. You still don't want to expend all of your stamina though, because if you run into an enemy, you're going to want to be able to run away. And if you just full send your stamina and then get caught out, then you're not going to have any escape options. Which is fine against a butcher because he just injures you, but if you have that issue versus a spider, you're just instantly dead. And that's not ideal. Unless you have adrenaline, in which case you can get yourself out of the cocoon. But I don't have adrenaline yet. We're not that deep into the game yet. Both locked doors. We're getting a lot of locked doors, unfortunately. That might be worth kicking on the way back, but it's not something I'm going to do now. Oh, I'm going to have to kick some doors. Okay. $21. I think I'm going to kick this, because this is... I mean, this probably doesn't lead to progress. Progress is probably that way, but this is all... Since this doesn't lead to progress, this is probably the farthest from an enemy. Kick once and kind of see if a butcher or spider makes noise. Looks like I'm safe for now. That means the butcher and spider are at least outside of earshot of that door, which is good, like good info to know. I can loot this relatively for free. But I mean, I've had this storefront tile on every generation so far, and look, I've only gotten $40 out of that. This just goes to show like how much the remaining value modifier, or the remaining value percentage, actually affects the loot on the map. I should, like with this kind of tile, I should have gotten a lot more, but it's what it is. Upgrades are map specific. If you mean like the remaining value thing, yeah, the remaining value or like the loot density is map specific. So the reason why the remaining value on the metro is going down is because I keep going to the metro. The remaining value goes down the more times you go to the same map. So, and that's like their way of encouraging map variety in your gameplay. And when you go to a different map, any remaining values or loot values that were lowered will start to go back up also. So it's not, Metro isn't doomed. I just have to go somewhere else to restore its value. Get another store tile though. I mean, this is the best we can ask for on a 63%. We go on fire gas. Welcome in. So far, evading every monster in the game. I would say it's both lucky and unlucky that it's shamblers that I've seen so far. Because the shambler, I mean, while they are the most dangerous while they're spotted, they're also very, very slow. So if I know that they're in the vicinity, I can start thinking about how to deal with them sooner rather than later. Another locked door. This is just an unlucky. I got lucky that I got Shadow Step. I got super unlucky that I just got a bunch of locked doors. Like, what's up with that? I think I had another locked door over here. Oh, this is just that. Right? Did I have a locked door over this way? No, this was a dead end. So progress is that fire exit, isn't it? Damn. I mean, I still got $100 from a 63% day. See, this breathing is now because I'm running, not because there's an enemy nearby. Just gonna double check this way. Yeah. I guess we'll kick it. I don't really want to. I'm gonna kick once and see what happens. Okay. Didn't hear anything, so we'll proceed. Still right hugging, by the way. Wow. I mean, here's a good thing about locked doors, is that the enemies will also have to kick them down in order for them to get to me. So if I start hearing a door getting kicked down, then I can start planning accordingly also. I'm trying not to go to the fire exit door right now, because when you see a fire exit door, that means you're gonna go to a different floor. And I kind of just want to see if there's loot on this one first, before, like, you know, navigating starts to get a little too complicated. This is a closet, yeah. Solo is very viable, people just ain't good enough yet. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we have the advantage of you know, having played during the playtest, I can't say that my first attempts at solo gameplay were the smoothest. But, you know, that's kind of why I'm doing this run right now and why I'm going to put it up on YouTube. I want to show people that it actually is viable. Okay, we'll keep going this way. There's sometimes a juice locker here. That was actually really good for 63% remaining value also, and it's a dead end. Okay, so I think before we get too confused, we'll call this one a dub. I mean, 137 on a 63% value metro is low-key fantastic. So we're gonna run away with this one. I'd rather not have to restart before getting to the whole solo concept that I wanted to feature today. So we're gonna lock this one in, if you will. If I don't lock this one in, then you know what's the point? I'm scared just watching. I'm saying, when you don't have like 11 of your friends in here like being silly, like the atmosphere is actually pretty unnerving, you know? Like this isn't meant to be silly scary. This is just scary, you know? Am I doing nightmare or normal? I'm doing normal for now. I'll do a nightmare run at some point, but this solo run is kind of just showcase solo strategies for people to try for themselves. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to sell, but I'm not going to pay my debt. Because if I pay my debt, I'm only going to have $372 left, which means I can buy the adrenaline. I mean, it is on sale. I think I'll buy this now, actually. I think I buy this now. What? That's so good. Do I just buy both of them? I mean, it's 15%. Are there any other sales? Do I buy... I don't think I buy Bolt Cutter yet. I think I just buy this for now. Question is if I buy a med kit. Because that's tough. Give me a second. I wasn't anticipating this. I mean, if I buy the medkit, I can still meet the quota. It's fine. I think Nightmare is easier since you can go to hospital faster. Dude, low-key, Nightmare is viable solo. And I even said that at the beginning of this run, that Nightmare might be better for solo just because of like the actual loot you can get. But here's the strategy on how to get to hospital faster. It is to intentionally fail the first deadline so you can go to Pentagon. But I mean, that also works in Nightmare too, and it's probably even stronger, but Nightmare Pentagon might actually just be a nightmare. Okay, I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna stop thinking. We're gonna get the double adrenaline. I can't use both of them now. I'm gonna leave one here. Because if I go down, like when you pick yourself up with the adrenaline, you'll be injured. And if you go down while you're injured, then you die. So there's no point in me bringing both of those right now. So yeah, we're gonna go to Pentagon. We're gonna hopefully get enough money here to gear up and go to a better map, and we'll go from there. Feel like you always get used to it after a while. Exactly. I mean, the thing about horror games is that you either, like, especially the ones that are more story driven, the reason why you're scared the whole time through the story mode is because you know, you only play through it once. There's not a lot of replayability unless you're a speedrunner, so you're just scared the whole time. But as far as like multiplayer horror goes, or ones that have like gameplay loops like this where you're supposed to have replayability, like no matter how scary your game is, you will just get used to it just from like exposure. It's just how it is. The only thing you become scared of in games like this is not performing to the level that you think you should be. Tried playing Forsaken Frontiers with my friends earlier. It's very hard. Yeah, so this game definitely wasn't intended to be easy, because as far as I'm aware, the point of the game isn't to be like, you know, have the horror comedy aspect where it's really funny watching your friends get scared. It's supposed to be terrifying, and you're supposed to perform regardless, or either way, which I can appreciate. As someone who prefers like the performance aspects of games, I can appreciate that. Does the game have a tutorial? The game does not have a tutorial. The closest thing to a tutorial, well, okay, it has the intro cinematic where it kind of walks you through what the point of the game is. Like, it tells you that you're in debt, you have to go to different maps to collect loot to pay off your debt and that there are dangers along the way. But the closest thing to tutorial, like, for the game is the beginner's guide that I made on YouTube. Yeah. And it's because there's a lack of tutorials that... Okay, wait, I'm not on streamer mode. Let me go on streamer mode real quick. The fact that there is a lack, or the lack of tutorials is what's pushing me to make guides for this game, because I think if people understood more what was going on, they would have a better time playing it. Use the tips from your videos to actually survive and come back with loot. Only one who did. Glad it was helpful for you. That's exactly why I'm making it. Tomorrow's guide will be a monster guide, like on how to deal with monsters and avoid them, etc. Identify them as well. It's something that I'm going to be working on at the end of this stream. So it's going to be another late night for me, but you know, it's release day. It's release week. We gotta do what I gotta do. There's a deadline to pay the debt. You have 3 days to pay off your debt. So, you know, this like people who play Lethal Company, this model is going to be very familiar to you. But if you cannot pay off your debt in 3 days, this happens. And this is exactly what I was looking for. I'm gonna go to Metro. Didn't even realize you were live. I've only been live for like 30 minutes, and so yeah. So when you can't pay off your debt, you have one last chance go to do it, and you have a chance to go to the Pentagon. And I got one of the most unlucky Pentagon spawns in my life. This is what Jupiter was talking about, the locked door at the beginning of the map, because now I have to kick this to progress, and it's gonna alert all of China that I'm here. And the Pentagon has the best loot in the game, but it also is the most dangerous because it spawns literally every monster instantly. So I got lucky that nothing spawned here, and that nothing is nearby. But look, I've only picked up like 3 items, and I'm already kind of juiced. I will say though that there's usually more loot than this in this room. So even though I already have 182 bucks, this isn't a lot. All of China, you know, Mulan type thing. Now all of China knows I'm here because I kicked that door. Oh god, dude, what is this? Oh, there's a spider also. Okay. Watch this. This is the strat. Okay, I kicked. The spider will do that. I don't know how far it'll follow me, but you know, I have a desk right here, so I can at least wait till they kick down the doors. So when enemies kick down the doors, they don't, that sound doesn't attract other enemies. So only the one door kick that I did will attract monsters. I'm glad that it was only the spider though, because that door kick could have attracted more. It could have attracted the Ventress, which would have ended my run immediately. 276, unfortunately, isn't the kind of value that I'm looking for yet. I kind of want to get a little bit more than this. The spider should have kicked the door down by now, so we're gonna walk. So there's more strats for the Pentagon also. So even though the most enemies spawn on the Pentagon is also one of the safer maps in the game, at least as far as not immediately dying goes. You still eventually have to outrun your enemies. Yeah, see, look, the spider had kicked down all the doors for me. I don't know where he's at right now, but he must have walked a different direction, which is fine with me. I'm gonna try to get a little bit more loot, but the reason why it's safe is because you can, like, these big tables are good for looping enemies, and you can also jump on top of them. The hard part about jumping on top of something is the dismount, though. Okay. I'm crouching now because the spider can hear you walk. But if I hear a vent pop, if I start hearing like Forsaken scream or something, I'm just gonna have to start running. There's a door getting kicked down to my right. That door's open to my left, which means there's progress that way, but you know, they just kind of kicked a bunch of stuff, so... No, that's not good that he's behind me. Because now I'm kind of pincered between 2 enemies. I might leave and go hospital, actually, but I kind of need that spider to move. Because if I walk into him, I'm dead. Okay. We might get a break here. I mean, I have these chairs as loopables. Dude, he actually passed that way? Okay. I'm just gonna lock this. We're gonna lock it in. Okay. Not the luckiest Pentagon ever, unfortunately. But I mean, I still... The plus sides are that I have 2 adrenalines, I can pay off my debt, and I can still go to the hotel.
It's time to pay your debts.
But damn, I wish I got more out of that. Open his inventory and I jumped. any unexpected sounds, you know. By the way, if anyone wants to pay off your debt, you go to this debt terminal here. You don't have to type in the exact amount of debt. I probably should have said this in the video, damn. But when you pay off your debt, you can't overpay your debt. So as long as you put in like a number that's above what you owe, it'll stop you at the amount that you pay.
Completion logged. Increased debt assigned.
Oh, I forgot to talk about this too.
Will result in severe corrective measures.
So the amount that you pay towards your debt will be tracked right here, and your new debt will be up here. So they're independent variables. It looks like they're related, but they're not. So now I owe $40,000 in debt. Like, I have to pay off $40,000 this next time. $10,000 is just how much I've paid so far, but they're independent numbers. Dang, this is what I get for one-shotting a guide, huh? Oops. Yeah, the Anthran tech. Yeah, they made it so that you can't overpay your debt, because apparently in the first playtest, Anthran was just spending all their money on the debt and they would lose all their money. So the devs have thought of a counter to that, and you can play without any issue. Now, the question is if I buy a med kit. I don't think so. I don't think so yet. I think I can greed this a little bit. I can afford to go to the hotel, which I think is worth it, because 63% value Metro isn't fantastic. I think I can get a bit more on hotel. The only thing is if I go to hotel, I have to guarantee enough value here that I can sell and go to hotel again, or I'm going to be intentionally incurring debt here. Not entirely sure what the play is. I mean, I was supposed to get more on Pentagon, so this run would be a bit easier, but that's not how it worked out. Metro does have EMP, which isn't the worst, actually. EMP disables your electronics, which I think is only the walkie-talkie and maybe the flashlight. Definitely the walkie-talkie, and also your time. Your clock won't work on an EMP. But I mean, with the way I've been playing, I haven't been staying until midnight really, so that's not much of an issue. The issue is more just cost. I think we'll just go. We'll just go hotel, because this is more for my info also. Like, what do you do if you don't get a good Pentagon? The trade-off to doing Pentagon early is that you no longer have a fail-safe for your run. So if I can't pay off my debts, run's just over. It is what it is. I got a spider immediately. Was the guy with his ass out the spider? Yeah, that's the spider. That guy, here's a vending machine, by the way, if anyone wanted an additional hiding spot. I have never successfully hit in one of these though. So I've always gotten hit in these vending machines. So I can't speak for the viability of using them for hiding personally, but it is an option. I think it's likely that I've just been spotted every time that I've gone inside one of those, which is very, very unfortunate. This is an okay, or like one of the better hotel spawns, I guess. You know, we got 3 floors to choose from to start looting. Multiple floors to deal with enemies. I got a desk right there as well. Walking, again, kind of slow playing it here. Hotel does cost more than Metro, but in theory the loot is supposed to be better. Like, the more you pay for a map, the more you're supposed to be able to get out of it. The thing with Hotel though is that it doesn't have any loot dense rooms. The loot is kind of spread out evenly across all rooms. So there's no tiles like, you know, like on Metro you're looking for the storefronts or like the storage rooms, or in like Hospital you're looking for the security doors and security rooms and stuff. This one is just loot is everywhere. I will say though that the tile that had the cash registers is going to be one that you want to keep an eye out for specifically, because the cash registers have the highest value loot that spawn in them. It has credit cards that spawn for $20 and wads of cash that spawn for 50. The butcher, that's not good. Hopefully he doesn't come in here. I think he's above me because I heard a door open. Gulp? There's another door here. Oh, they can hear you open doors, by the way. They can hear you open and close doors. I probably should have considered that for a second. $81 is unfortunately not enough for how much I spent to come here. I might have to start playing a bit more aggressively now that the butcher is so close. What I want to do though, I want to walk over this way and kind of get a visual on him myself. I can see what floor he's on. Can't really tell though. If I can figure out what floor he's on, I can choose to go up or down from here. I think I'm gonna go up though. No point in crouching right now. If I see an open door that's up here, then I know that he came from up. Still don't have the info I'm looking for. So that must have come from deeper in the facility then, not as close as I thought. If I was asked to do all this to pay off my debt, I would say no. It's definitely a tall order. But hey, wad of cash, that's good. See, like now I have $137 because that wad of cash kind of sorted me out. That almost doubled my inventory value. I'm not kicking that locked door because I heard a butcher in the vicinity. And I feel like that door is close enough to sound detection range. I am now walking towards where I heard the butcher, unfortunately. But I don't really have much of a choice. Another dead end. I feel like I am navigating this a little slowly. It's about to be noon already. Another locked door. I'm considering just bringing the butcher out here on purpose so I know where he's at for sure. Can't leave yet. Only have 160. I mean, 160. A little bit more money, I'll be able to afford another hotel visit. But the thing is, I also need to be able to pay off the 400 in debt. But this might be where I go back to Metro also. I think he's kicking down one of the doors up there. Spider now. I'm pretty sure at least. This is another dead end. Please don't be another dead end. My goodness. If I was like actively getting chased by a spider, I would be dead. Actually, no, I have an adrenaline still. I should play like I have an adrenaline, huh? But yeah, this is a pretty tall order for, you know, someone who's in debt. Oh, this door's open. I didn't see them open this. Oh, the butcher room's right there. Oh. Oh, that's tempting. Oh, that's tempting. That would make this run entirely worth it. But I need to see where this spider goes. That absolutely changes things. But where the hell did the butcher go? Where'd he go? Please be an elevator right here. I'm looting for you. I'm looting you for all you're worth. The butcher room is one of the most loot dense rooms in the game. You're about to see right now. Look at this. Alright, guys. Question is, where did he go? He's in here. I'm gonna slow him down a little bit. Because I need him to be slow for this next part. Okay, guys. Sound warning. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. 397. Oh, I probably could have got a bit more, though. I think I just go back to Metro, because I can afford to do that, I think. So, one side of, you can loot one side of the butcher room without aggroing the shambler in there. But they put a lot of loot on the side with the shambler in it, so there would be a trade-off. So if you decide to loot that side of the butcher room, you will get a lot of loot, but the shambler will alert all nearby enemies to the butcher room. So if you do plan on looting the butcher room, have an escape plan, or you will lose your run. Now think about it. Like, I got a quick, what, 200 something bucks from that butcher room on Hotel. Now imagine the butcher room, well, Metro has one also, but imagine the butcher room on the tunnels, which is like the most expensive map in the game, and the butcher room on the Pentagon also. Any map that the butcher spawns on, there will be a butcher room for. And let's just say, I'll tell you right now, the butcher room on tunnels is fantastic, and the butcher room on Pentagon is even better. You might go into those rooms and just come out with an extra $1,000 or $2,000, depending on what's in there. And I don't know if the butcher room is actually affected by remaining value. It hasn't felt like it anyway. But yeah, if you find a butcher room and can loot it, absolutely go for it. And that's not even talking about like nightmare mode, where the value is 2.5 times regular value or loot value. So yeah. Another thing to note about the butcher room, the butcher always spawns in there too. And the butcher room has a minimum distance that it has to be away from the trains. So that way you don't actually get instant spawns. Because the butcher room used to be completely random and could sometimes spawn literally right outside of the train station, and that's not really fun to deal with. And it's because they made that change that I'm hoping that they consider the no locked doors at the beginning change also. Like I said, locked door at the beginning, perfectly fine for multiplayer, but it would be a nice quality of life change just overall, and especially for solo players. But as you can see, so the original hotel fee, travel fee, was $200, right? But when you're already at a location, if you go again, the travel fee will be halved. So now if I go back to hotel, the travel fee will only be $100 instead of $200. But I only have $51. In order for me to be able to afford this, I would need to sell my 397 of loot at 60%, which comes out to 238. And honestly, I don't think it's worth it. But if I were to go here with what I have now, I would incur an additional $19,600 in debt, which is $196. So if I do this, my new debt amount will be $596 or $59,600. And which is probably fine if I'm able to loot the hotel well enough to make up for it. The problem is that I have the infestation modifier, which doubles the amount of enemies on the map. So it's basically built-in nightmare mode, but at regular loot values. Obviously, nightmare infestation is even worse because you have doubled enemies doubled again. But I really don't think it's worth it. I think I'm gonna go back to Metro. You can see that the remaining value has gone back up to 74%. So loot density, remaining value goes down faster than it comes back up, but at least it goes back up. And then we'll see if we go to Metro again after this, or if we go back to Hotel. Hospital has Vigor, which is nice, which is increased stamina. It's not infinite, but it feels like it. I'm not going to Tunnels. Like, nah. Tunnel. I don't even know if Tunnels is viable solo because of how the power mechanic works. there's not a lot of synergy there. It's going to be a very RNG type map. So I think solo play, you're going to be wanting to look at Metro, Hotel, Hospital, and the early Pentagon as your maps. At least for now, until they add more stuff. The devs did post a picture of them working on post-release patches and updates. So I don't know how soon new enemies or maps, etc. will be added, but they did leak that at least the names of some upcoming enemies. If you guys haven't seen that, and you do want to kind of see what their roadmap looks like it doesn't have the specifics of the roadmap, it just kind of shows their outline. It's in the Discord right now, in general. You'll have to scroll up a little bit. But yeah, we're gonna go to Metro. Let's stop yapping, let's start playing. I'm still kind of just holding on to this adrenaline because it was expensive, and I think if I use it now, I won't be getting the most out of my money just yet. I really want to be able to go to hospital with no issues, and if you guys were around when Thoyle was talking about going to hospital, hospital is just like the best map for solo, and it's probably the easiest map in the game right now as well, at least to be able to loot a bunch. So ideally, I don't want to use any of this equipment until I get to the hospital. But I like having it on me just in case, because I also don't want to reset a run. If I was like going for world record or whatever, I mean, there's no world record runs quite yet. I mean, the game literally just came out yesterday. This would probably be a reset because of how poorly I performed on the Pentagon. But I'm also just curious to see how much I can perform without the juiced up Pentagon. It does mean I have to play a little slower though, which is fine. Two that are non-chase enemies. I mean, Maylene has kind of shared with me some info on future enemies that I won't disclose here. But a lot of like the newer enemies that are coming in will have a much different AI than the ones that are currently here. Because I will say that one of the main criticisms I have about the game is that the main differences in these enemies are on how you get detected. As far as like dealing with them goes, like you can deal with pretty much every enemy just by running, door slamming, and hiding, which I personally have no problem with because I think like the door slamming, looping, and hiding is a very fun thing to do. But it's totally understandable that some people would be more interested in actual variety and how like the chases work and stuff. Obviously there are slight differences. Like the Butcher won't insta-down you, the Spider will insta-down you and cocoon you. Ventress pops out of a vent and then chases after you. The Forsaken are basically like Butchers, but there's 3 of them. You know, they do have their nuances that I'll be going over in my guide that I will hopefully put out tomorrow, that I intend to put out tomorrow. Especially since, you know, I have all that info in my head, like, pretty locked down. But right now, it's definitely just gaming time. 'Cause what kind of gamer would I be if I have this knowledge in my head and am not able to execute with it, right? What cycle am I on right now? I am currently on the 2nd cycle. I guess that's good. If we're gonna use cycles instead of quota, that's good. I'm down to run it like that. We've been trying to think of, like, different phrases to use other than like quota and scrap and stuff. Oh hey, we get an elevator. So that's why I've been like training myself to say loot instead of scrap. And if we say debt cycles instead of debt quotas, I'm down for that. So I'm on cycle 2. This naming convention also matters because for the people of speedrun.com, there's now a Forsaken Frontier speedrunning Discord, so we're trying to figure out like how to name everything. We, as in, you know, the people actually running the thing. I was just invited to it, but I'm not like moderating it or running it at all. But I was kind of taking a look today, and yeah, the speedrunners are definitely super excited for this. I mean, when you invite a bunch of speedrunners to the playtest and they fall in love with it, like obviously the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to start implementing speedrun categories and stuff for this game. And I think this game has insane speedrun potential too. Okay, a door just opened behind me. Damn it. Well, I do have adrenaline. So. Spider. Confirmed with Maylene already for cycle. Nice. I do like cycle. It's a good word. I'm gonna open this door and figure out where this spider is. He's in front of me, isn't he? I can't tell. She has been using debt cycles. Why didn't she tell me? How about we call them loops? Debt loop. Yeah, this spider is in front of me. No, he's up this way. Oh, he's up there. He's on the other side of that fire exit. I'm gonna go walk this way. I can't believe Maylene's adding another shambler to the game. No, I think I had already gone off to make the money or the debt guide by that time. Dude, I was actually so exhausted yesterday because I actually woke up at decent normal human being hours of like 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, and rather than like going to sleep in between, I stayed up to kind of just stay awake for the hype around Forsaken Frontiers. And then I just full sent it until I don't think I went to bed until like 7 o'clock this morning. So I was just up for almost 24 hours. That's kind of why this stream started pretty late. But you know, it was a big day, and even though I'm like not officially part of like the FF team, you know, I'm a big supporter of what's going on for it. And I wanted to be there to at least be someone to talk to about the game. Like on initial release. Okay. Even though this is a different game than Lethal Company, I am still not immune to getting lost while yapping, unfortunately. Oh, damn. Oh no, okay, I figured out where I'm at again. Okay, well now that I know that it's officially called Debt Cycle, I'm gonna keep calling it Debt Quota so Maylene can keep getting mad at me. Just like how I keep calling these maps and locations moons. Dude, even yesterday I thought I heard a thumper in-game. I forget what sound cue it was that made me think that. But I unironically thought I heard a thumper sound. Okay, is that door open or there's just no door here? See, so this is an open door. So that means that there's progress that way because that's where an enemy came from or went towards. So you run the risk of running into an enemy at the trade-off that you will find progress. It is getting kind of late though. 143 is probably okay. I'm trying to get enough money to go to the... I might have to go into debt here. Just to go to Metro one more time, so that way I can go to hospital next quota. Next cycle. That one wasn't even on purpose. Oh, this door's open too. Both of these doors are open. What is my highest solo loot day? I haven't done much solo. Well, actually, I don't think I've done solo yet in the public release. But I have gotten, like, in the playtest, I have gotten over 1,000 solo. I think it was like 1,400 or something. It was a Pentagon day, though, so it was, you know, it's supposed to be high. The highest amount that I've ever gotten, like, by myself, was around 2,200. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm gonna start making my way back now. Six o'clock. The train horn, first train horn means that it's 6 p.m. and then from 6 p.m. onward, the train horn will go off every 2 hours to let you know that you're running out of time. There's a spider. Looking for him. Ventress can now spawn. Oh, okay, we got the elevator. That works. I was gonna say, I don't entirely remember which way it is to go back to the train. But if all else fails, just go find an elevator. It's really supposed to be go find an elevator, and if all else fails, go back to the train, but we work a little bit differently today, it seems. At least we have that nice elevator jingle before we have to go back to all the seriousness. A little bit of relief. Now, oh, I can still afford to go to Metro, that's right. It is blackout though, that's a little unfortunate. Okay. This is probably gonna just be a quick land leave situation. Got 540 in here though. I do have to pay off 400. Maybe this is gonna be harder than I thought. Okay. I did spend like $400 on adrenaline. I'm a little concerned about my earning rate now. Yeah, I don't know what to call it, what to send and, or whatever. Like the ship in Lethal. more like a, you know, you gotta, oh, I'm gonna land in the Metro. Is that, you know, train talk? Shirley Maylene won't ever hear this, right? Because she's busy. Please don't IP ban me. Okay. If you ever see me get removed from the moderator role and not playing Forsaken Frontiers, just know that it was because I compared this game to Lethal Company too much. Now I have a choice to kick down a fire exit or a regular door. This one might be a loot room directly behind it. I'm kicking this one. I don't hear any enemies, so... No ops heard. At least yet. There's stairs right there. In a blackout, the elevators don't work. It's very unfortunate, so finding an elevator in deep progress is not going to be a play. I will just have to go back to the train at some point. So I'm trying my darndest to not get lost here in the dark. This is where having a lantern or a flashlight would come in handy. Oh, this is a jump, isn't it? Yeah, this is a jump. There are people who will die to that. I just recognized the tile. That's the only reason why I was able to identify that jump. But good luck. Good luck to anyone in a blackout identifying that tile without a lantern or a flashlight. I did see that they are looking into adding more lighting to that jump though to make it easier to spot. It is something that they already did since the playtest. Because during the playtest there was no light bulb above the hole. So if you didn't recognize the tile or if you didn't have a flashlight or lantern, you were basically just dead. So the current live version is the one with the light fixture, but it clearly still isn't enough. So they're gonna add more. I'm gonna close that. Oh, I see the jump last second. Right, exactly. And even when I played yesterday solo for a little bit, I personally missed the jump, and I already have like 50 plus hours experience in the game going into it, you know. Because sometimes you're excited, right? Like you see an elevator in the distance, or you're running from an enemy, or you're trying to make it back to the train on time, or make it to an elevator, and you just, you know, you just don't see it. It just is, and it just is what it is. But I'm hoping that they find a good balance between making the lighting better so people have a chance to survive it, but also not so bright so that people can still make that mistake. Because I still think it's really, really funny. And welcome in, Luxury Arts. Hi, Nico. Please don't tell on me. Of all the people that are here, I feel like you have the most potential to tell on me. No, why would they be watching? Why would they be watching Silly Only? There's no way. There's absolutely no chance that the big old devs of Forsaken Frontiers, the new latest hit of co-op horror extraction gaming, has tuned into my stream specifically. That would be insane. They clearly aren't here for this $80 looting of the metro. That would be well, lucky and unlucky. Hopefully they only heard the good parts. Can't believe Nico. I can't believe Nico brought them here. You gonna see me fall in a hole? Okay, well, at least if I fell in the hole, I have an adrenaline to pick myself back up, but that would probably be one of the more embarrassing reasons to use an adrenaline. I'm backtracking all the way back to this fire exit so I can kick this down. We're gonna go this way before I get too lost. This is good because now I'm still not too far from the train right now. This is the dead end, isn't it? Damn it. All right. Fair enough. I feel like 80 is not enough. What to do? I think I just... You know what? I will leave because if the lesson here is that passive play isn't sufficient for solo, then I will approach this differently next time. Because, you know, in Lethal Company, you can play really safe and just do a bunch of land leaving, and you can go pretty far. You can do like 6 to maybe 10 quotas, depending on your RNG. You can definitely do at least 6. But I need to see how many cycles, debt cycles, you can get away with when you play like this. That's the science that we're doing right now. Okay, well, this is a bit more expensive than I thought. Well, I have to sell this first. I no longer have the Pentagon available to me. I originally thought that this increase wasn't significant enough. But maybe it is good enough. Vigor Hotel. Vigor Hospital. That 1,000 extra debt is kind of nuts. I think we'd still play Hotel. Vigor is nice, but I need to actually need to loot now. Maybe the oh, I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, right? If second adrenaline was the play. I'm starting to think that bolt cutters might be the one you buy first, at least early, and then, like, cause you can play yeah, okay. New buy order, you buy bolt cutters first. The adrenaline, I should have bought 1 adrenaline, 1 bolt cutter. Because I bought double adrenaline under the assumption that I was gonna use one of them on the Pentagon, and also because it was on sale. I got by the 15% sale on adrenaline. Austin, you didn't save 15%. You spent $450. Oh, that's unlucky. I no longer have Shadow Step 2, so... Spider is within earshot, if I can hear him like that. Lore-wise, why does the debt increase? I'm not entirely sure. I mean, they haven't really released too much about the lore. But in the intro, they said that if we can't pay off the debt, then all of us perish or something. So it seems like this debt isn't something that the government is making us do and killing us off if we don't do it. It seems like we're kind of working on the same side. it's like kind of all up for speculation. At some point, I'm gonna go re-listen to a lot of the announcements that we get in game, and especially the random ones that we get while we're just idling in the train, because that's like apart from any visual storytelling elements in game, those are really the only ways to pick up anything about the lore so far. Like, for example, someone pointed out that at the Pentagon there are signs that say DEFCON 1, so you know that's kind of like a hint towards what's going on and what state of the world is. Like, why are we even in debt during the apocalypse in the first place? So I think like we will find our answer by looking into those details a little bit more. Also, I'm now behind the spider, so that's fantastic. Worst case scenario, the butcher comes and I get chased into the spider, but I have adrenaline. Like, if I go down to an enemy here, I would like to go down to the spider or the Ventress. The reason why I don't want to get picked up or get down by the butcher is because at some point the butcher will pick me up and start carrying me to his room, and you can't use adrenaline while you're getting carried. So I'll have to use adrenaline like likely before I'm safe. Whereas the spider will cocoon me, and I can kind of wait until I'm safe before using my adrenaline. I can't wait forever though, because the spider will eventually come back to eat me, but I can at least wait until the enemies clear the area. Also, if I go down to the Ventress, I'll be put in the crawl state and the butcher won't pick me up since he wasn't the one that downed me. So I can also just crawl all the way to an elevator or all the way back to the train, or just crawl to safety in general before using my adrenaline. But I don't intend to go down, not this early, so. For sure. Peace out, my coof. 162. Dead end. Good. Makes my progression less confusing. Start walking now. It's good that we're getting a lot of these rooms. I just need a little bit more out of the cash registers. Like, now I can't kick that now because the spider is nearby, unless I want to aggro the spider. Kind of funny that I got vigor, but I'm not really taking advantage of it. I mean, it'll come into play if I aggro something. I'll be able to run pretty far. But at the same time, the hotel is good because it has a lot of doors and hiding desks to use. It does have a lot of narrow hallways, so if you get pincered, you're kind of out of luck. So, that's something to keep in mind also. How's it going, Cupcake? Welcome in. Hope you're excited that the Forsaken Frontiers is finally here in public release. I remember that you were playtesting the game also, and like all the other playtesters that I've talked to, they're all very happy that it's finally here. And for people who said that the game might have been too expensive, or like for what they were getting, they did lower the price today down to $15 full price and $12.49 at discounted price until the end of the week. So if that was like a deciding factor for people who are on the fence about the game, it's now there. You know, I've said that the devs are really responsive to community things, and honestly, even though they are very responsive about in-game balancing and concerns, I wasn't expecting them at all to budge on the price point, because that's not something personally that I would have budged on. But the fact that they did and are trying to make the game more accessible to people in that way says a lot about their character, and I really appreciate them for doing that, actually. Because, you know, I have at least an idea of how much work has gone into this game, and obviously that amount of work doesn't actually matter to a consumer. But I do appreciate them listening to that community feedback and lowering their prices. That's what I'm saying. And also for people who did buy the game at the original price, I'm pretty sure you can refund it on Steam still, even after the 2 hours, and then buy it back again at the lower price. I obviously won't be doing that. I was actually trying to see if there was a way I could pay the full price off RIP. And if I can get a creator code that makes people pay even more for it. Because I wouldn't want a creator code that gives people a discount on a... where I'm getting a cut already on a discount. That doesn't make sense to me. But if I can somehow convince people to buy it at a higher price and I make the difference off the full price, that would be like my ideal transaction. It's also kind of a fun marketing challenge too. But you know, that's not something that's going to happen, so. Just don't want them screwed in the end, right? Exactly. But I mean, like, you know, if lower price means that more people are down to give it a shot, then so be it. Because you can charge whatever you want, but if people aren't buying it also, then that's an issue too. It is like the debut game and stuff, so at the end of the day, like regardless of how quote-unquote successful the game is, like your first product also, or at least official product, is going to be a learning experience, and I'm sure that there's a lot of learning that's happening in real time right now, even on the second day as well. Not that this is the first game that they've ever made, because they've also scrapped a bunch of stuff in the past. But like, you know, there's a big difference between making a product behind closed doors privately and actually making something available to the public. And even for that alone, you know, I give a lot of props to people who actually make their products publicly available, and especially to the ones who can take the chin music that comes with like handling criticism and whatever. It's a rodeo that I've had to do quite a bit, like for food and also event planning. 'Cause, you know, I've done like a lot of food catering, I've done anime events and stuff. And now I also get a lot of flack as a YouTuber and content creator also. So, you know. Oh. It's a lot. Either way, game fun, and that's what matters. Game fun. I wouldn't be here fully supporting it if the game wasn't good. You know, I wasn't motivated to push the game because I'm friends with the devs or anything. I actually didn't even know who the devs were until after I got invited to the playtest, and we just happened to become friends after. But I was already planning on pushing the game from the very first time I touched the playtest. Now, if I didn't like the devs as people, I wouldn't be pushing it, because I won't push a product for a game of people that I don't like. I just don't think that's good, but I do like them, so yeah. Speaking of the devs, thanks for the sub, Dio. Appreciate you, man. You look a lot like Big Weave, apparently. Speaking of Big Weave, we got the twins throwing in their subs for the show. You ever seen Big Weave and Dio in the same room? Not once in my life have I seen them in the same room. And you know, I think there's something to be said about that. Is 259 enough? Alright, well. You know, all it takes is a good yap session to kind of diffuse the horror of a game. You know, gaming content and streams and YouTube is just kind of a platform for me to yap and to be heard at scale. I'm not gaming for hundreds of people. I'm holding them captive with my gameplay, so hundreds of people can hear what I have to say, regardless of what it is that I have to say. This is like the long form variant of those Subway Surfer TikToks and YouTube shorts, except instead of Subway Surfers, you have an actual game. Okay, well, to be fair, Subway Surfers at the time, super fun, right? Even though it was like a ripoff of Temple Run. Okay, I can't say ripoff, right? I can't say ripoff. Okay, what do you guys think? Do you think Subway Surfers innovated what Temple Run started? Did Temple Run even start that genre of mobile game? I don't know, but I don't see anyone using Temple Run to clickbait their stuff. Okay, I've seen at least one. But yeah. You and I have been in the same bed. Well, yeah, you're the same person. You gonna be in two different beds at once? Which one's the alt account, though? That's what I want to know. This is why Big Weeb doesn't release his government name, because if he releases his government and what he does in real life, people will link it all the way back to Forsaken Frontiers. I'm just saying. Comp solo DC 10 right now. Oh, I'll add it to the boards. We getting high cycle, getting a high cycle leaderboard. I'd be very interested. I'm literally a Subway Surfer right now. Does that mean that this is in the water? Lore drop? Lore drop? Speaking of lore drops, by the way, another hint about the lore in this game is the locations that these maps are actually at. You know, like the metro is in Chicago, Illinois. The hotel is in Savannah, Georgia. The hospital is across the country in Phoenix, Arizona. The tunnel is also in Chicago, Illinois. And then the Pentagon is the Pentagon. And we're reaching all these places from the same train. So what is it about this train that was so important that it had a cross-country performance? Something to think about. I also saw in the Discord that this game was also inspired by Snowpiercer, so I've considered revisiting that movie to see, because maybe there might be some hints towards the lore revolving around the themes of Snowpiercer. I will say that Snowpiercer was one of my most favorite movie experiences of all time. I watched it at home with my aunt, and we had no idea what the movie was about. She just threw it on because Captain America was in it. I don't remember the actor's name. That's how much I'm invested into movie culture. Chris Evans. No trailer or anything. And if you watch that movie knowing nothing about it, it is a very trippy experience. And it's one of the movie experiences that made me stop watching trailers before I watch a movie, because goddamn, it's so much fun when you don't know what's gonna happen. Same thing with This Is the End. If you guys are familiar with the movie This Is the End, the one with those comedy actors or whatever about the apocalypse, I had no idea what that movie was about either. I went there high as hell. That was super funny. I was like, wait a minute, these are all famous actors. Wait a minute, they're all using their real names. This is real cool. And then the apocalypse started happening and I lost my shit. And I have not watched a movie trailer ever since. But yeah. I missed Temple Run. Temple Run was good. Temple Run was good. Subway Surfers is more vibrant and appealing. You know, it's a more modernized version of that genre and stuff. But, like, you know, it's cool that Temple Run did so well that it inspired more games of the genre. Which is kind of what I want for what I wanted for Lethal Company, right? Like, with Lethal Company's success, I was super looking forward to see how people decided to innovate on that genre. And Forsaken Frontiers is the first game in that category that I've been genuinely excited about. You know, it's a shame that there's a category, like a subsection of people that can't appreciate what's going on here. But, you know, you're gonna have those types of people regardless of what you do. Like, you know, people had the same criticisms about Valorant, comparing it to Counter-Strike, and they still do. People had the same criticisms about ghost hunting games, comparing it to Phasmophobia. People had the same criticisms about asymmetrical horror games, comparing them to Dead by Daylight. But in their defense, in those genres, the asymmetrical horror games have not touched Dead by Daylight at all. I mean, I loved Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game. I loved Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I loved Home Sweet Home Survive, if anyone played that. But they just weren't as good as Dead by Daylight, unfortunately. And same for the ghost hunting games. There hasn't really been one that I've played that can kind of touch where Phasmophobia is at, or even has been, even from release, like comparing old Phasmophobia to where it is now. Old Phasmophobia kind of just clears a lot of current ghost hunting games as well. Though I've seen like a lot of support for games like Demonologist. I was actually a big fan of Ghost Exorcism Inc. when it first came out, though I don't remember what it was called at first because it was a name change at some point. But I've also kind of moved away from the ghost hunting scene, so I haven't really been too in tune with what's going on there. So really, as far as like competing with an innovating game, I guess, Valorant is like the only one that's really seen some crazy success. But that also might just be my own lack of scope of vision or something, you know. Valorant still gets compared to Counter-Strike. Valorant exists on its own just fine, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for Forsaken Frontiers. It's kind of doomed to always be compared to Lethal Company, but I hope that it can just kind of stand on its own regardless. But yeah. 10 out of 10 yap session, this is why we follow. You know, I'm not the best at video games or anything, so like, I kind of just, and I don't think I'm the funniest person either, but as long as I can like yap in a way that people enjoy, I think that's what'll separate me from other people. But yeah. Imagine this game with high quota runs or speed runs. That's actually why we're here. It's like the first thing that I'm trying to implement. You know, just like with Lethal Company, how I started introducing a bunch of different challenges right off rip. I want to be doing the same thing here for Forsaken Frontiers. But I'm very interested in being part of like the high cycle or high quota pioneers, I guess, if you want to put a word to it. And there's already a Forsaken Frontiers speedrunning Discord. And I think it's going to be the same team that also runs the high cycle or high quota things. That's why we're here. That's why we're trying to see if solo play is viable for that. And yeah. If the competitive community thinks it's worth the play, the game in the same genre proves that it's not a clone. Right. I also think it's different enough too. You know, just the pace of game on its own. Also, I've been yapping for a little bit, haven't landed anywhere. But we have a infested metro. I don't know what to do. Okay, we can start with this. Start with that. I'm a little boned, aren't I? I might be a little boned. I might go to the infested metro anyway. What else do I got? I'm also just kind of rolling for a surplus hospital to make up for all of this. Oh wait, no, I'm still at hotel. I think I have to do this. But I also don't have to go into debt to do it. Let's just sell now. It's unfortunate, but... So, the infestation modifier doubles the amount of enemies that are on a map. So instead of one butcher, you'll get 2 butchers. Instead of 1 spider, you'll get 2 spiders. Instead of 2 shamblers, you'll get 4 shamblers. Instead of 1 ventress, you'll get 2 ventresses. And if you're on hospital, instead of 3 Forsaken, you will get 6 Forsaken. So it's basically like nightmare mode, but without the nightmare loot values. Was it like that in beta? It was like that in the playtest as well, yes. And now imagine infestation on nightmare mode where enemies are already doubled. Instead of 2 butchers, you will get 4 butchers. Instead of 2 spiders, you'll get 4 spiders. Instead of 4 shamblers, you will get 8 shamblers. Instead of 2 ventresses, you'll get 4 ventresses. Instead of 6 Forsaken, you'll get 12 Forsaken. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. Austin's a yapper at heart. Yeah, love the yap sessions. Most yaps and opinions I agree with. I think I got some good takes on things. I can admit when I'm wrong and when I'm off base, and I'm very open and clear about when that is. But, you know. We're out here. We're out here sharing our opinions. Don't mind when people disagree with me as well. It's part of having an opinion. It's part of having a public opinion, rather. I think it's kind of whack when you have strong opinions and you don't share them. Because then you're just kind of sitting in your own hatred and your own disagreement. Like, go have a conversation with people. It's good for you. Infested nightmare tunnels, my beloved. Oh man, if I can find a way to make tunnels viable as a solo player, you know, you'll hear from me very soon. But right now, tunnel solo is kind of just a nightmare on its own without the nightmare modifier. Okay, so for people struggling with the hotel jump. Okay, well I'm at... Don't do that. Don't do that. First off, don't do that. God damn it. Alright, hold on. I was gonna show you guys a tech on how to deal with this, but now that I'm injured, I can't do it. See, you know, so being a decent yapper comes with a debuff of costing most of your gamer potential. It's very hard to be a yapper while also being a high-performing gamer. It just is what it is. I can definitely focus on the game a lot more when I am not yapping. But I will be damned if I am sitting here silently gaming and thinking and expecting people to just watch me play a video game without talking at all, without expressing my opinions. There are so many people who just kind of record themselves gaming without saying a word and wonder why people don't watch them. But I will not be one of those people. But yeah, so what I was gonna say is that if you come across that hotel jump, the real strategy isn't to actually jump across it, but to just run through it. And you'll land on the other side on the bottom floor of it. So, yeah. Now I'm a little boned if I don't make this second jump now. Because I'm personally not very good at the injured hotel jump. Because being injured makes that jump significantly harder. Like, just, it is so much harder. And even though I have, like, experience with this game, it's not a jump that I'm entirely confident in still. I'm a little worried about the lifespan of this run. But, we're gonna play it out. So yeah, if you want to survive, that was an example of what not to do. If you want to survive that gap, do not walk across it. Do not walk looking down saying what, this is what you're supposed to do, and then walk completely off. You will not find a lot of success in that strategy. I will say though that when you're going up, it is easier, it is easier to jump sideways across rather than all the way across because, you know, less distance to cover. So I can at least show that, but that option isn't available to you once you get to the top. You will have to cross over. And in the event that I die, oh, okay, I should go back for the adrenaline actually. When you go for this jump, you want to aim for the right corner here because there's more collision on this side than there is over here for some reason. I am injured though, so I'm gonna have to, it's almost frame perfect. But there we go. Even injured, I make it. The reason why I did that is because I want to get the second adrenaline. So that way I have a chance of coming back. The second adrenaline is not as valuable as I thought because I haven't sold anything yet. I'm gonna save this actually. I thought I had money in the selling bin, but I sold to get here. If I die here, I die here. Okay. I don't know if it's the same case, if you should aim for one of the sides and jumping the other way. All I know is that jumping to the right trick works when you're jumping back. Maybe you do the opposite. You jump from the left side and jump across. Because I guess it's the same distance regardless of which way you jump. I also have breath now. It's too early for it to be venturous. Are the debt values consistent? Yes, they are. So first cycle will always be $10,000. Second cycle will always be $40,000. And every cycle after that will be a $20,000 increase. So third cycle will be $60,000. Fourth will be $80,000. Fifth will be $100,000, so on and so forth. And I think that's good information to know for people who are speedrunning and trying to go for high cycle runs, because it is just a consistent increase. And also, any additional debt that you gain during a cycle, like from deaths or from going to expensive moons, gets reset each cycle. I talk about all this in my debt and money guide that I put on YouTube if you guys want to go check that out. I talk about pretty much everything you need to know about debt and money in this game. I think it's very helpful. That's what I'm saying, like, and it's a lot less RNG about like performance and stuff. Like, I think it's cool that Lethal Company kind of quote unquote randomized or gave a range for the increases, but like sometimes you just kind of get boned by too high of an increase, or some people go farther than they probably should because they low roll stuff. You know, I mean, go look at some of my runs. I got some of the lowest freaking rolls ever, and they were wasted on me because I decided to play the way I play. But it is what it is. I was doing what you said in real life. Yeah, you know, we talk about how I have so much money from YouTube or whatever, but then why is it that everyone who calls me that has way more money than me? Nico just be practicing his hotel gaps at hotels. You think I'd be gaming here if I can? Okay, well, okay, if I could afford to go to hotels regularly, then I would absolutely be streaming and making YouTube videos constantly. But I can't. But Nico out here just going to Australia for an entire month. Big weave, traveling wherever he wants. Going to Japan. Maylene got a theater room. I'm playing a $20 video game, a $10 video game, and meal prepping at home. I just don't got a 9-to-5 job no more. This game takes Lethal Company and cuts half the RNG. I'm saying. I mean, there's still RNG, right? Because, you know, you still have to get good seeds or like good seeds will still determine or help determine like your potential performance. But that's still in Lethal Company. That's still in all the other games too. Okay. I have to get back. I gotta focus or else I'm not gonna be able to complete this cycle. No RNG if you remember every seed. True. True. This game doesn't show you what seed you're on though. It just shows how many cells there are. You gotta start running. I mean, pulling a Markiplier? Oh, it's Mark. Let me DM him real quick. That's my guy. That's my guy. That's just a joke anyway. Huh? Where am I supposed to go? Did I not go somewhere? I must have not went somewhere. Careful when making that jump though, because you hit the you hit your head on the ceiling when you jump sometimes. Ads don't die, I'll try not to. Ventress can spawn now though, so I'm a little worried. Can't tell if it's better to have a small generation for quick loot or big generation for distance from enemies. That second part about distance from enemies is kind of good to consider. I don't think the map size will really affect how much loot you get though, at least when you're solo or in a smaller group. It's like not even really possible to explore every cell. Maybe if you had like a very coordinated group of 12 whose intention was to explore every cell rather than to gather as much loot as possible, maybe there's a chance to explore every cell. But you would have to probably be super efficient given how big the cell sizes are. Hey, welcome back. I'm glad that the ads weren't too long. I used to not run mid-roll ads, I used to just run pre-rolls. But literally every streamer friend of mine told me that it's better to run mid-roll ads, especially for newer people. So I've been meaning to make an update video about that because I made a video talking about why I don't run mid-roll ads. And people seem to like that. And then now they come back and be like, wait bro, why are you running mid-roll ads again? Because apparently it benefits more people than I thought. So better for people to sit through ads during the stream rather than to do it up front, especially if they're kind of just giving my stream a shot, I guess. Okay, I still somehow managed to get 336. I mean, 336 isn't that bad. Could be better. I don't think this is enough to leave with, though. I'm not entirely sure. Because now I'll have about like 400. I'll have to make quite a bit, actually. Okay. I guess if you get stuck there, just jump twice. Okay, I'm gonna go RNG. We're gonna go full RNG. I'm gonna get a surplus something here. Exactly. I think, yeah. True. I mean, in an ideal world, I can just run no ads and still be able to afford it, but I can't say that disabling ads or putting less ads would do much for my, or would not hurt my bank account rather. Especially nowadays, now that I don't get like as many views on YouTube and stuff. Like the ad revenue does help, even if just a little bit. But I still make enough to get by for now. We're not on the scale where I'm gonna be living that good YouTube life like most people perceive content creators to do. Like we're not doing that here. Not right now anyway. It started off that way back when Lethal Company was a bit more viral and stuff. But because I didn't stay on top of things or like change things up enough, we're kind of just at a comfortable amount right now. But hey, the plus side is that I get to play video games for a living. And I think that's kind of a good trade-off. And I will keep doing that until it no longer makes sense. But it still makes sense right now, even with the viewership that I have. And like I kind of like that it's that way, because when you look at my, like if you look at my YouTube history and like the amount of views that I have on there, you wouldn't think that it's enough to actually like get by on. And obviously that also just depends on what kind of bills and life expenses you have. I currently don't have that many. So it's enough for me, and I think it would be enough for a lot of people, and definitely a decent like side income for most people. Like most people are just spending money playing video games, and that's just a net negative as far as finances go. Obviously, like return on video games and whatever isn't always about money, but what if it was? What if you did have a financial return? Would you want one? People who don't want a financial, who would say no to a financial return on video games is kind of like that doesn't really make sense to me. Like I would be playing these video games regardless if I made money off of it. It's just kind of like a plus that I do. So it is what it is. I'm out here representing for the people making a normal living wage on video games and kind of breaking the stereotype that YouTubers just make millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. I'm making an average amount of money playing video games, and I think that is still real cool. You saying you don't make 20k a day? I absolutely do not make 20k a day. If I made 20k a day, I probably would have I probably would just be full sending Forsaken Frontiers instead of making time for Lethal Company at the same time. Usually only watch your short YouTube vids because I usually don't have time for longer ones. Yeah, and it's I make the longer ones because it seems like at least most of the viewership that I had in the past, they would like putting my longer videos up while they work or sleep, etc., etc. So I was kind of catering to that demographic. And it's also way easier for me to make a longer video than it is to make a shorter video, because the longer videos I kind of just have to upload a VOD of myself playing the game, and people enjoy that. Whereas the edited ones take a lot more effort, and I also get a lot less return on them, at least currently. Like even my short Lethal Company videos tend to not do as well, and they take like almost 2 times longer for me to produce, since I actually edit and sometimes script and stuff. But I do think that is the way to like the next goal for my channel, because I will have to make more scripted and curated content in order to like get to where I'm at, or to go beyond where I'm at right now. Because if Forsaken Frontiers doesn't go viral, then I'm gonna have to do a lot more work to like grow from where I'm currently at right now. So I'm kind of just at a comfortable spot where I can just kind of do what I do and live the way I live, but I don't like staying stagnant at all. I would like to see a bit more growth, but I also understand that this is a longer term game than what people realize. I've lost some viewership, I've dropped in views or whatever, but I've also only been doing this for like a year. And in terms of like business lifespans, just being able to survive 1 year is fantastic. Like most businesses fail within their first year, but I'm still out here. And if I think on like a 5 to 10 year time horizon, and even longer than that, since making videos and stuff and doing like content is something that I'd rather just do for life, year 1 is really freaking early. I'd say that I just have a really good starting point. It's fine that I drop down. Like there's no such thing as linear growth in life where you just keep going up and up and up. It's gonna be ups and downs. We might be in a down period. I've seen some ups, and yeah, it's not down enough to take me out yet. I'm not dead yet, so. Austin pays me 19.5k a month for duos in blood points. 19,000 blood points isn't a lot. Year is actually crazy, making me feel old. Dude, you are like the youngest person in the Lethal Company community right now. I feel like I'm like 10 years older than you. It's actually insane to me how young a lot of Lethal Company people are. Like everyone's like, I'm 21, I'm 23, I'm 19. I'm like, holy shit, guys. We're almost in like a different generation of people. Personality also helps. I think it helps that I have a background of being a corporate, like a sushi chef, especially specifically for catering and corporate events. Like just being able to yap to thousands of people has already just been kind of drilled into me. And before I left my last job to do YouTube and Lethal Company full time, I was the head chef of like a small sushi spot, and I was always trying, like, representing myself for business and whatever. So at least being able to talk for a long time and at a somewhat professional capacity, that's something that I have in my life experience. You know, it's not awkward for me to do that. And on top of that, you know, even before Lethal Company, I had already been making gaming videos for a long time. Like, I started making gaming videos back when I was in middle school, so when I was like 12 years old or something. I've gone through many different YouTube channels. Like, the current YouTube channel that I have right now is like 4 or 5 years old already. And I was making videos even if I didn't get views, because I was making them for my friends to watch. And that was always going to be the case until I had a breakthrough. And then I finally got the breakthrough on Lethal Company. So it was just a matter of making stuff that people wanted to watch at large rather than just my friend group. The Dead by Daylight stuff, that was for my friend group. And as a result, no views on those. Totally understandable. It's part of the long-term vision. But it is what it is. Let's see in 10 years where I'm at, right? That's kind of like the game that I'm trying to play right now. And that's actually when another thing on like the 10-year time span, that's an important time span to me, because it was about a year ago when I decided to start taking my life a bit more seriously. I'd say that I spent like my 20s or so just kind of a lot more recklessly than I think was best for me. And it was after I reached a certain point, getting closer to my 30s, where I was like, okay, did I do enough for my own personal growth in the last 10 years that it would make sense for me to continue living life the way that I am? And my answer was a very clear no. And that's when I started making changes. And 6 months into making those changes, Lethal Company came around, and all the energy that I had to like kind of turn my life around went into trying to grow this presence on YouTube as a gaming content creator, etc., etc. But then, you know, that motivation eventually dwindles. And then that's why I've taken hiatuses. I even picked up like a day job at some point, which I have already left again because I realized that that's not what I want to do. And then I took another hiatus to play Dead by Daylight and only make Dead by Daylight videos. And then I realized that if I keep doing that, then I'm going to have to go back to a 9-to-5 job. So instead, I'm just treating playing Lethal Company like a 9-to-5 right now. Like, this is better than the alternative right now, so let's just do what we got to do. Do what we got to do to survive. I'm a hard person to kind of stomp out. I got the grit to do what I need to do. Anyway, when is Iron Man but you make sushi while playing? The one thing stopping... Okay, there are two things stopping me from making sushi for content. One of them is that making rice takes like 2 to 3 hours. Second one is that since I'm no longer in food, sushi ingredients are super expensive. It's something that I could go back to, but if I go back to that, I'm gonna have to dedicate a lot more time to it and a lot less time to this. So yeah, if you want to see sushi content from me, I'm gonna have to make a lot more money doing this first, because good quality ingredients are not cheap. That is why I'm not a food content creator. 30 is going to be sick. I'm saying, Lloyd. I'm saying, brother. I'm not even there yet. I still got like, what month is it? November? I still got like 4 months before I hit the big 30. But yeah, for people who think they're getting old and they aren't even 30 yet, like, bro, 30 is probably like 30 is when you start figuring shit out, is what I've been told. And even if you haven't figured your shit out by 40, dude, we gonna be living for a while. I think the important part is that you figure out eventually. Doesn't matter really when. There are people who find their success at 50 or 60 and then they end up, like, you know, enjoying everything. It doesn't matter how shitty you have it beforehand, as long as you figure it out at some point. But it's kind of hard to imagine, like, figuring things out on that long of a, like, time horizon, I guess. But there are, like, most people don't really figure themselves out until much later in life anyway, so that's what I'm shooting for. Do you intend on having kids at any point? I think that's going to be up to my partner at the end of the day, you know? It's not something that I have in mind currently, but because if, like, the one prerequisite that I really have before having kids is making sure that I'm both, like, well, the one really big thing is making sure that I'm financially ready for it. I want to say that I would like to be emotionally, like, you know, ready for it as well. But I'm not sure if that's something that you can fully prepare for. That's just something that you're gonna have to figure out along the way as you have a child, because how are you supposed to know that you're emotionally ready for it until you've actually, you know, had, like, done the thing, right? That's something that you have to learn to grow, like, while you're parenting. But you can at least be financially prepared for having a child. So that's like absolutely step number one, because I don't want to bring like another person into this world or have another person like in my life like that if I can't like support them at financially at minimum. And then obviously like me and my partner are gonna have to be like emotionally stable enough to be able to take on that responsibility. So that's step 2. I guess step 0 is finding a partner in the first place, you know. And then figuring it out from there. But it's not like high priority for me at this time. And it'll only become a priority once like those things are in place. So it's not something that I think about too much. As a 32-year-old female, 30 is not that fun. You feel like you're 80. I feel like I'm in the second best shape of my life currently, and I intend to keep it that way. I would say I was in the best shape of my life back when I was playing football in high school, and second best shape in my life just before I started playing Lethal Company. Because before I played Lethal Company, I had a very awesome sleep schedule. I was tracking all of my macros and nutrition. I was exercising very regularly, training for a marathon, bowling in a bowling league, training Muay Thai, and also working out 3 times a day. And also working 10 to 12 hour shifts in a kitchen on my feet all day. And then Lethal Company came out, dropped all of it to grow a YouTube channel. And then I'm just now starting to pick it back up with Forsaken Frontiers. So I will say that my energy levels are definitely taking a toll. My mental takes a toll from like dropping all of that stuff. But it's something that I'm trying to build back up. It's not something I don't think I can get back. It's just a bit of a process. Lethal Company bad for health confirmed. I will say though, I have a standing desk now. I have a standing desk. I have a walking pad. I got my suspension trainers behind me. I still have all my Muay Thai gear. You know, we're working on it slowly. Got addicted to LC. It was not just being addicted to the game, because if it was just a video game, I would have been fine, because I would have just dropped it at some point. It was when I started seeing movement on my YouTube channel and started seeing the potential to actually get to YouTube partner and stuff and make money doing YouTube. That's when I started going all in, because I had never crossed that threshold into monetize YouTube before, and none of my friends have either. So that was just kind of like a world that I had no experience or even insight into. I was like, okay, if I can pull my own numbers and see what it's really like, then I can make a decision from here to see where I go. Like, do I dive deeper into the food, into my food thing? Do I go more towards like finance and business and personal development type stuff? Or is gaming content actually a viable life path for me at this time? And the more I started gaining like following and seeing numbers from Lethal Company, I was like, oh damn, this is actually a doable thing. And I figured I just have to put all of my energy into this right now, and then I can figure out getting all my health stuff back later. If I could do it all over again, I would have stayed on top of all of my health stuff at the same time. But it was also really difficult to work a 10 to 12 hour shift in the kitchen and also spend 6 to 8 hours doing Lethal Company content and doing that 6 to 7 days a week. Because that's what I had to do in order to just get the start of my channel up. And then in January I left my kitchen job, and then that was like the first time I ever felt like I had a vacation ever since I left college. So like for 10 years. So I kind of just took advantage of actually being at peace for once. Took some hits financially for doing that, but we're still out here. We're still out here 8, 9, 10 months later. Link a treadmill to Lethal Company /FF and walk forward. You need to actually walk. If I can figure that out, I would. I probably need a more expensive treadmill for that. But you will be seeing me do a lot more walking pad streams. Right now, I mostly just stand up while I edit as well. And also when I was playing Dead by Daylight recently, I was also doing like suspension trainer sets in between games as well. But the Dead by Daylight's kind of come to a halt now that Forsaken Frontiers is out. You know, because I mostly played that game with Maylene, Big Weave, and Nico, but we're all on like the Forsaken Frontiers grind right now. Different variants of the Forsaken Frontiers grind, but we are all putting everything we can into making sure that this game like does well. So yeah. Did you quit the Zaza when you stopped smoking? Yes, and quitting smoking was the thing that I thought about after 10 years that made me really turn my life around, because at some point last year I realized that I was coming up on 10 years of smoking both like a tobacco and cannabis. And when I started smoking at like 18, 19, whatever, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be the kind of dude that can do all this crazy stuff and just be high all the time and still like get crazy success in life. And after 10 years of trying to do that, I realized that that was not the play. And so like a year and a half, 2 years ago, just completely cut it out of my life, decided to not be a smoker. That's when I started exercising, eating well, being better about my social life, being better about my business life, getting all things together. And then I started playing Lethal Company. I've definitely broken that seal on smoking for both cannabis and tobacco since then. Like once or twice in the past, however much. I did go for a whole year and a half though, without touching anything. And that was cool. That was the longest I've ever gone. But then the reason why I went back is because things got a little bit stressful during one of my hiatuses. And I was also curious to see if I touched it again, would I be able to leave? And I now know with full confidence that I'm not attached to either substance, which is real cool. It's still not something that I have regularly in my life, because that's another trap, being like I can quit whenever I want and still using it regularly. Like, if you're someone who says that, then stop saying that, because you're just going to use it regularly. You saying I can quit whenever I want holds no weight and doesn't matter. So you're either someone who smokes or you're someone who doesn't. That's really it at the end of the day. You either do or you don't. Even if you dabble, you're still a doer. But yeah. LC hit the gaming community hard as yeah, it absolutely did. For better and for worse. It's not real. I wouldn't say for worse. It just kind of... Lethal Company was so good that it makes people who are trying to make games around it very difficult. And I'm a little sad that the reception around games like it kind of just bash on that, when instead we could appreciate what the games are doing differently, right? Like Sketchy's Contract, first game that tried to do something like Lethal Company, I thought was actually a pretty fun time. Hot take. I enjoy Sketchy's Contract. I like that game. I do. But damn, did it get flamed for trying to copy Lethal Company. Damn, it got flamed. It got flamed so hard. And I actually think until Forsaken Frontiers, Sketchy's Contract was the best one. And that's after playing Content Warning. That's after playing Murky Divers. That's after playing Pilgrim. All of which I liked for different reasons. And, I like all of them for different reasons. I played all of them. If you want to see some real Lethal clones, I'll show you some real Lethal clones. There are some games out there that just do not deserve recognition. And I might have to bring them out into the spotlight, so that way people know the difference between a game that was inspired by Lethal Company and one that's trying to copy it. Because goddamn, there are some bad ones out there. There are some bad ones out there. These are not it. These are not the ones that deserve that criticism. It was shitting on, good for gaming as a whole, shitting on massive titles. And showed how bad the state of gaming has gotten. I'm saying, the fact that a solo indie game dev, and a young one at that, could not only compete, but just straight up outperform big titles, is huge. And I wanted that to be inspiration for people to go out and make their own games and try to throw themselves in the ring as well, And that's what happened. A lot of people got inspired by Lethal Company, started making their own games. And you just kind of got to face the chin music sometimes when you do that. It's part of like putting something of your own out there that you care about. Not everyone's going to like it. In fact, there's going to be a lot of people who hate what you do and hate on you for doing what you do. Well, that's just business, baby. That's just putting yourself out there and being vulnerable and being able to do it anyway. Content wording could have been so good if they just added the content in from the title. Not entirely sure what that means. Content warning was probably my least favorite one of the ones that I mentioned, unfortunately. But I think that's just because I already do content for a living, so it kind of felt weird getting extra meta about it. And also, I just got nothing wrong with the game itself. I really like the concept, and it's definitely more fun as like a party, like doing it for silly stuff. But I'm not a gamer who does stuff for silly things, and I think people who've been around would understand that. I mean, even though Lethal Company is my main game and it's known for that comedy aspect, that's not why I play it. At least not nowadays, anyway. I play it for the gaming cycle, for the gameplay loop, if you will. And I think that's why I like Forsaken Frontiers as well. I'm here for the gameplay loop, even despite the lack of silly elements in the game. That said, I did want to do some sort of high quota run for content warning at some point, and I wanted to do it solo because as someone who likes doing challenge runs, I always try to think about the inverse of how people approach a video game naturally, and playing in ways that people just don't think are possible. You know, when Lethal Company first came out, people didn't think it was possible to play solo. I wanted to be at the forefront of that. People thought that certain moons just weren't playable or weren't fun. That's why I made the Iron Man challenge. Now you have to go to all of them. People thought eclipses were impossible. That's why I did my entire Eclipse only run. Or Eclipse only series, rather. You know? And now, with Forsaken Frontiers, that's why I'm here today. I see a lot of people saying, this game is not tuned for solo. I disagree. That is why I'm here. Just a little early. But I mean, you can only be early at this time with Forsaken Frontiers because this is literally day two of release. But there's no actual content in the actual game loop. I'm not sure I'm following, unfortunately, but I also didn't play enough content warning to follow along with that. I've seen that they've added a lot of stuff since then, but it's not a game that's going to make it into my rotation. I do actually, speaking of other games that will make it into the rotation, I do want to revisit Murky Divers at some point, because I've seen that they've had a huge content update since I played. Same thing with Sketchy's Contract. Sketchy's Contract recently had a huge content update. They've been working. I don't know how much support they have right now, but they've been working, and I kind of want to go see what it's about. I'm more excited for Sketchies than I am about Murky's, to be honest. My biggest criticism for Murky Divers is a very similar criticism to Forsaken Frontiers, in that the enemies in Murky Divers, you kind of counterplay all of them the same way. You kind of just dodge, like swim dodge and EMP all the enemies. Same thing for Forsaken Frontiers. Once you are detected, you door slam, you run, you hide, you loop. That is how you counter all the enemies in this game. The difference is that door slamming, hiding, looping is a lot of fun in Forsaken Frontiers. I don't mind that it's the same way to deal with all of them. It is super fun to do. It is not fun swim dodging and EMPing enemies. Too slow a little bit. But maybe they changed something in the new content, so I'm looking forward to it. Gonna do camera duping? Not sure what that is. Doable solos just takes practice. Exactly, right? Like, there just hasn't been a solo meta developed yet. And there hasn't been enough, enough examples, but it's doable. We're just figuring it out. People also thought, certain high quota amounts in Lethal Company weren't possible. But then people like Jimmy the Duff came around and were showing people the ropes on how to go higher, and then Brett and his crew just kind of took it way, way up. And same with all the other people who are running high quota Lethal Company right now. Dude, people in Lethal Company didn't even think the jetpack was viable. People thought the jetpack was, was not a good item, when it was one of the best items you could potentially get. People thought TZP was useless. People thought the company cruiser was not viable. People are not always right, especially at the start. So I'm hoping that that's going to be the same case for Forsaken Frontiers. Okay, let's finally play. We got Surplus Hotel, which means maximum loot. Maximum loot hotel. I actually don't know how much I need. I probably should have done a bit of a review of where my run is at before sending. But, 676. Okay, so it looks like I'm not going to lose right away. At the very least. I don't have a gap right at the beginning. That's fantastic. It's a short 30-minute yap session. Hey, when I upload this whole thing to YouTube, well, maybe I cut that part out and just do a separate video. I think I'll do that, like how I did for the Dead by Daylight video. Because for the people who just want to see me play, they're gonna be like, dude, why the hell did this guy go on a freaking TED Talk in the middle of the run and then just get past it? But I'll leave the yap session in separately, maybe, which I think is fine. If I can make more than one video per session, that is ideal for me. That's kind of like my strategy with streams. Like, I'm supposed to stream in a way where I get at least 2 videos out of it to make it really worth my while. Because, what's it called? I love streaming, and I think it's cool that I make money from it. And honestly, I like the people who show up to my Twitch streams more than most of the people that show up to my YouTube comments. You guys, if you guys go to my recent video about Forsaken Frontiers, the one I released for launch, or the day before launch. The one where I said Forsaken Frontiers is the next best horror game of 2024. There were so many people shitting on Forsaken Frontiers in that video, and also me for pushing it. And I was like, God damn. I remember what I'm reminded why I do not read the YouTube comments. But you know, I don't hate them for it. You know, they're expressing their opinion. I wish that they shared their positive opinions on my Lethal Company videos, you know, because all these people, they never seen their names before in my life. They just decide to share some negativity on my video about a non-Lethal Company video, but never share their positivity on my Lethal Company videos. It is what it is. Yes, I'm calling them out because they're not even gonna click this video in the first place. They're not here. Are they with us in the Twitch chat right now? They are not. But you know, I had a pretty good laugh over it all and stuff. And you know, a lot of their complaints are addressed too, especially the price point one. Price was lowered today. $5 off. Go buy it. But yeah. Difference between opinion and literally shitting on the game. Also, people just haven't played it. There was someone who thought that I was I was actually on the team and that I was promoting my own game. That that one was really funny. I was like, damn, people just do not understand what's going on at all. But you know, that's just the internet. That's not gaming specifically. I've like dealt with similar criticism in food. I've dealt with similar criticism in event planning. This is not new to me. But goddamn, is it funny? I think Nico got more hurt over my comments than I did. I just wish that most of the hate was directed towards me and not towards the game. Hate on me all you want. I don't care. But goddamn, the Forsaken Frontiers team put so much work into making this game a thing that it sucks to see people shit on something that people work so hard on. But again, they don't have to juice the game like I do. They don't have to glaze it. Fine. I've said before that amount of work you put in doesn't mean that people have to appreciate it. It just sucks that there's a vocal minority of people that act the way they do. We get another butcher room, by the way. But that's the important thing to know. It's a vocal minority, you know? Got in there was like 20 comments of people hating on it, but video got over 100 likes, a couple thousand views. I would say like the majority of people were actually looking forward to Forsaken Frontiers. I think that's sick. Yeah, I will say that Forsaken Frontiers, if you watch it, might not be as it's harder to be immersed into something when you're just a spectator. And when you actually play this game, like, you will feel that immersion. All that sound design that people are criticizing and stuff, or lack thereof, quote unquote, compared to Lethal Company, it comes into play when you're actually in here. I stopped being scared of Lethal Company after one day. I'm still 80 hours, I'm like 80 hours into this game. Being solo is still scary. And it's probably scarier when you don't have a Twitch chat to talk to while you're playing. I have that luxury. I can just look left and see what you guys are talking about instead of... Also, to be fair though, the video that I put out kind of showcasing Forsaken Frontiers, I said that it was in the thumbnail, that it was scarier than Lethal Company. I know, sue me. Sue me that I'm baiting the Lethal Company community into watching something that isn't Lethal Company. I know, I'm a villain, I'm terrible. I'm terrible for being a Lethal Company content creator who's trying to showcase something that people who play Lethal Company might actually enjoy. I'll take the villain role for that. Oh shit! Oh no! It's the haters! Oh god. Alright, hold on, give me a second. You won't go this way. He's gonna hear me. Let me lock in for a second. love LC like it's my life. Played modded vanilla, all till I die, but with FF, so a little different aspect, and I love them both. Exactly. There's room for both. If you get tired of one, go play the other. If you want kind of like a more chill vibe, go play Lethal Company. If you want kind of like a more scary vibe, or if you want more like fast-paced gameplay, go play Forsaken Frontiers. Crazy concept. You can play more than one video game. Kinda nuts. Kinda nuts. Lethal more fun to watch, Forsaken more fun to play. I can agree with that. Although I don't really like watching Lethal Company, to be honest. I think I'd much rather be someone who plays a video game than watches one. But I agree with that, and it's kind of like that's kind of why why I'm leaning more towards guide content for Forsaken Frontiers rather than just doing gameplay stuff, because I really think the Forsaken Frontiers shines when you are in the driver's seat more so than in the spectator's seat. Obviously there are going to be people who still enjoy watching it, and I'm very thankful and appreciative of those people, you know, because at the end of the day, like how much a horror game is, how fun a horror game is to watch will help determine the success of the game, because there are people who just either don't want to play horror games or can't handle playing them, and their fun is in watching someone else do it and experiencing the game through them, myself included. Dude, I am not good with regular horror games. That's why I don't do them. The reason why I can do Lethal Company and Forsaken Frontiers is because of the eventual try-hard gameplay loop. Same with Dead by Daylight. Dead by Daylight, scary at first. Now, I'm just a sweaty fucking juicer, you know? Who's not even that good at the game yet. even though I have like almost 700 hours in it. It's funny, like, when I was like bigger in the Lethal Company content space, I would very openly say that I just don't watch Nico or Larry's Lethal Company content as much as I probably should, especially as someone who's working with them, alongside them, and trying to make this YouTube thing work together. And now it's ironic that nobody watches any of our Lethal Company stuff anymore. But yeah. Butcher made me jump. I'm saying. I was not ready for that. But you still gotta act regardless. Did I already clear this way? I don't know anymore, dude. Uh-oh. 6 o'clock and I only have $600. Damn. But I do still have my adrenaline, so. No, I don't think I did it in time. Yes, I did. Follow my blood trail. True. True. That's one of the benefits of being injured. You leave behind a blood trail. It's like that, mostly just run and scream. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the future enemies that are included in this game, because I even said so in the Discord, like once you're being chased by an enemy in this game, it's the same like counterplay regardless of which enemy is chasing you. It's just that how you get detected by them is different. And what happens after you get down by them is different as well. So I'm excited to hear that the next two enemies aren't going to be chase enemies. Okay, I don't think I'm doing anything more. I'm yapping too much. He was crazy quiet, actually. Normally I can hear like the chainsaw or something, but at the same time, I'm also less aware when I'm talking. How am I supposed to hear the sound of a chainsaw or a butcher laughing when I'm just talking everyone's ears off? But at the very least, we didn't die. We made enough money. $934. We still have at least one adrenaline. We get to pay off this debt at least. We'll do that real quick.
Your debt has
We
been
gotta keep playing.
recalculated, workforce. The increase requires immediate productivity escalation. Continue without delay.
I'm gonna scroll up and see if I missed anything, because I'm sure I did. Feel the vibes for this game better than LC, and I think it mostly comes down to art style and gameplay loop. Yeah, and you know, this game is going to be for the people who want that experience out of a game but aren't getting it out of Lethal Company or something else that they're playing. Also, I don't think I was wrong in saying that Forsaken Frontiers is the best new horror co-op game of 2024. What is it competing with? Lethal Company is not a 2024 horror game. That was 2023. Lethal Company was my personal game of the year of 2023. It's a new year now. And I haven't been excited about a game until Forsaken Frontiers. I was genuinely thinking like, damn, if Lethal Company goes under, I have no idea what to do next because I don't like any other video games. Then Forsaken Frontiers come out. I like another video game now. Then I started playing Dead by Daylight with Maylene, Nico, and Big Weave. Oh yeah, this game was actually fun. But it's not new, so if I want to build a Dead by Daylight following, I'm gonna have to do all the actual steps to build a channel rather than trying to like take advantage of a viral niche. Lethal Company is a viral niche. It was, at least. I don't know if it's as viable nowadays. MMO gamer can only play one game at a time. Similar way, I like focusing on one thing at a time. But I'm trying to introduce variety now because Lethal Company is not the one thing that I want to focus on. But if it was, if I could have somehow just wanted to stay on Lethal Company for the entirety of the year, I'd probably have a much bigger following right now. But it is what it is. You can put my channel next to Bread and Alter Egos and see how much people, and see what the difference is between people who dedicated their channels to Lethal Company and people who didn't. Shout out to Bread and Alter Ego, by the way. Love what they do. I've said it many times that their strategy is a lot more conducive to growth on YouTube compared to mine. So, but I like doing it the way that I do right now, just so you can kind of see those differences, right? Like you have Alter Ego who like focuses a lot on like AI and that kind of guide, like more technical guides. You have Bread who does more gameplay guides and is also a hybrid between gameplay and guide content. Since, you know, he's kind of leading the high quota race right now and puts out like advanced gameplay guides. And then you have me who just uploads myself playing video games at a subpar level compared to them. And it's kind of cool seeing the differences. But yeah. To send each other clips we wanted to see from our runs. Anyway, exactly. I actually do plan on going back and making some clip compilations of some of my longer runs. Because there's some good stuff that happens in those longer videos of mine. But because some people don't want to watch the whole thing, which is understandable now that I'm uploading 4 to 6 hour freaking videos, I still want more people to see some of the stuff that happens. So, and I think it's because that I do the same thing for our Dead by Daylight sessions that I'm now more willing to do it for Lethal Company as well. Because it's just something I wasn't willing to do for Lethal Company, but it is now, and we can thank Dead by Daylight for that. So even though, you know, no one watches my Dead by Daylight stuff, people think that I'm failing as a content creator because I did that stuff. I've gained something from it. I've learned. And I think that's what's going to matter in the long term. So yeah. Needed the stream, rough day. Well, I'm glad you're here and that it's helping out with your rough day. You know, we all need something. We all need something. I'm glad that this stream can be that something. At least one of many things, so. And you're in good company right now. Everyone who's here right now today is good company. Including Firegas, even though they're leaving right now. But appreciate you stopping by, Firegas, and sticking around for so long. What does ID on Pip-Boy thing represent? That's just kind of like, you know, a numerical identifier that you can have to attach yourself to. You don't get to pick this number. This is actually the last 3 numbers of your Steam ID. And funnily enough, the last 3 numbers of my Steam ID are 113. Shout out to Shirt 113. Maybe we'll bring Larry back. Maybe we'll bring Shirt back for a session of Forsaken Frontiers at some point. It's been a while since I've talked to that dude. Which is mostly my fault, honestly. He's reached out to me, but I've been kind of unreachable for the past month or two. For various reasons. But I got the 113. I got my little Larry reminder here. I think it's probably one of the best numbers I could have gotten. Other entries that would have been cool though, 069 420. That would have been awesome. 777 007. But I got a pretty sick one, I gotta say. New Mario Party, kinda gas. Pretty scared. Are you dead ass? MMORPGs keeps you locked into a single game. Hard to play and enjoy while consistently playing other games. Yeah, the reason why I stay away from MMOs, the moment I touch one, that's all I'm doing. That's it. Nothing else. Luckily, there aren't too many MMOs that I fully enjoy. The last one I fully enjoyed, Elder Scrolls Online. And I always, at some point, go back to old school RuneScape. And the good thing about both of those I can play without a membership. Old School RuneScape a little bit less so, because now I'm at the point where the free content just isn't doing anything for me. No, might be a little too high level for that kind of stuff. But you know, at some point I will. I've even considered bringing back the Old School RuneScape in between Dead by Daylight sessions, or while I'm dead during Forsaken Frontiers in a multiplayer lobby. But I have instead opted for working out in between, you know, for my health. I think that's probably better. Failing because I played DBD. Failing because for almost an entire month I uploaded nothing but Dead by Daylight and didn't stream. And there seems to be like some relation to me getting no views on my Dead by Daylight stuff and Lethal Company getting less views nowadays, which may or may not be true. You know, YouTube does push you harder when you are getting consistently good views. But Dead by Daylight is not the reason why my Lethal Company, not the only reason, or even the main reason why my Lethal Company videos aren't getting as many views on YouTube. The reason, I'd say a bigger reason why my Lethal Company stuff doesn't get views on YouTube is because I'm not putting enough effort into making that content as interesting as it could be. I used to put a lot of effort into making my Lethal Company stuff very interesting. Now it's just kind of a cut and paste from my stream over to YouTube. And you know, it's kind of funny because I've also learned some other stuff about how YouTube works. We won't go too much into that. But one of my videos got like 30,000 views and is climbing, and honestly, I made a lot of money from that one. The Midnight Only runs. That one was just a standout performer. And you wouldn't think that 30,000 views could pay the bills, but you know, my numbers say otherwise. There's a reason why I do the long ass videos. They pay out really nicely. And you know what's crazy about that one? I just played on experimentation. That was an experimentation only run. I probably have the world record for most real life dollars made playing only on experimentation. Why do high quota or speedruns when I can just play on experimentation all day and pay my bills? It's still kind of funny to say out loud, but it's true. Larry would like this game for his hardest game series. Yeah, I think Larry would vibe with this. I don't think he would stick with it long term because he doesn't stick with games long term like that. But I would love for him to make a comeback for this one specifically. Did Maylene or Dio ask if I want to be a moderator, or did they just promote you and tell you afterwards? They asked me if I wanted to be a moderator, and I said yes. Only because it didn't really change what I was going to do anyway. I was planning on being active in there, answering questions regardless. But I think it's good that they have people who are active in there who can kind of remove anyone who's like being a little bit too negative for the community or just spamming links or whatever. It used to be a big, well, it hasn't been that much of an issue yet. It was actually a bigger issue leading up to the development or to the release of the game, which is kind of funny. But it's been pretty chill in there so far, and I'm glad that it's bringing a lot of good. That despite, you know, the criticism that the game's getting on YouTube and Steam, that the Discord has at least been a good source and hub for positivity around the game. Are you gonna duo stream anytime with Twitch and YouTube at the same time? I don't entirely plan to, for two reasons. One is that I would like to grow a Twitch following, and well, okay, three reasons. One, I would like to grow a Twitch following, and if I split my viewership between Twitch and YouTube, I think that's less conducive to trying to grow my Twitch side. I think it would be more conducive to trying to growing as a streamer overall. But I would like to just keep the whole streaming gig separate from YouTube. I would like to keep it all on Twitch and see what I can do when I'm only using this one platform, and seeing what the conversion looks like from YouTube to Twitch viewers. The second reason is because of my upload strategies right now. Since most of my videos are just me uploading directly from my VOD to YouTube, I don't think that works very well if people can choose between watching my YouTube live streams and watching my main YouTube videos. I think my main YouTube videos would take a hit as a result, and that was true for at least the few YouTube live streams that I've done. I'm coming up with a fourth reason on the spot, so we're gonna lead with that one. The third reason is because I make, as far as like viewership to dollar amount goes, I make more money on Twitch than on YouTube. And I was very butthurt about one of my YouTube live streams that I streamed for 10 hours and only learned afterwards that I couldn't monetize it. I thought that was some bullshit, and that is not something that I want to risk every time. I sent it in for review after the fact, and with no changes whatsoever, and they monetized it with no issue. But that whole 9 hours of streaming, I made no ad revenue, and since I don't have any channel membership set up, I made no money off that 9-hour stream. I only made money on people who watched the stream after the fact. I was like, yeah, Twitch wouldn't do that to me. I'm going to just stream on Twitch and make whatever I make, and that's fine. I mean, it's not like I make a bunch of money off of that, but the fact that I made 0 was some bullshit. Also, the reason why I don't have channel memberships on YouTube is because I need to promise value for people. I need to promise value in writing for people who are going to pay for this channel membership, and they don't really have like that emote culture or anything as far as I'm aware, and there's no real value that I want to promise to people that I want to deliver on. Like, at least on Twitch, I can promise them ad-free viewing if you sub. There's emotes that you can use if you sub. You get the little fishbowl badge on Discord and on Twitch if you sub. And that's cool. It's like transactional. It's fine. YouTube, I have to say in writing what I'm giving you, and it's not optional. And it's usually things like saying thank you at the end of a video, or, you know, etc., etc. But that's like stuff that I'm not going to deliver on, unfortunately. And that's something that I don't really want to set up or put energy into. And the fourth reason, which was my original third, is that you can get in trouble for multi-streaming if you do it wrong. Which isn't a YouTube thing, it's a Twitch thing. Like, you are allowed to multi-stream, but you are not allowed to give preferential treatment to your non-Twitch viewers. And you also can't show that you're multi-streaming. Like, some multi-streaming services show which websites the comments are coming from, but if Twitch catches on that you're Twitch streaming and you're differentiating your audience like that, they can like shut down your Twitch channel. And like that's not something that I really want to risk. I know that a lot of streamers are doing it. We all know who. I don't want to get them in trouble or anything, but I think they're doing it right. But that's not like waters that I want to navigate. But there are a lot of other streamers out there who multi-stream, but only talk to their YouTube chat. Only talk to their not their YouTube chat. Only talk to their Twitch chat for that reason. And I don't want to multi-stream and ignore the YouTube stuff or giving preferential treatment to the Twitch chat, if that makes sense. It's just a lot more easier. It's a lot easier mentally for me to just focus on one. I thought you knew Larry IRL. I do know Larry IRL. Good friend of mine. But I actually haven't really been talking to a lot of my IRL friends. It just is what it is. For Twitch anyways. I think also, I've said before too, it's much harder to grow on multiple platforms than it is to grow on one. If I have to pick one platform to grow on as a streamer, it's Twitch. So I don't want to add extra variables into the mix until I've gotten a lot bigger. That's also why when I was doing Lethal Company videos in the first place, I didn't promote outside of YouTube. I did not use Twitter, I did not use Instagram, did not use TikTok. I only posted to YouTube and tried to just use the YouTube algorithm to push myself. And it worked out. Obviously got to change my strategies now if I want to kind of reach those numbers again. But it's all within expectation, so I'm not hurt about it. People can say what they want. We'll see where we're at in 10 years. Fine, as long as you aren't in any sort of contract. I guess though. The big thing, then I guess the biggest reason is because I don't want to stream on YouTube and then realize that I can't monetize it after. Also, my original intention with Twitch was to never stream Lethal Company. I was only going to stream Variety and kind of use it as my litmus test to see what games people would be interested otherwise, or just so I wouldn't have to cloud my quote-unquote Lethal Company channel with other games, since I knew other games wouldn't perform well in the first place. But now I've decided to just take that leap. I'm uploading other games. Sue me for it, or unfollow, unsubscribe. Doesn't matter to me, actually. Twitch is great to get started and grow. Trying to outreach TikTok, YouTube, all that. I think Twitch is fine for storing VODs when you're trying to grow, but I think it is absolutely horrible if you are trying to grow an audience with just Twitch. It's good to store the VODs if you don't have a lot of storage space for your VODs, because you can just highlight all of it and leave it somewhere and download it as you need it. But there's no such thing as organic growth on Twitch. You'll get a lot more of a following if you curate your streams into like more bite-sized pieces, or curate it into YouTube videos or into TikToks or YouTube shorts or Instagram reels, and then have people funneled into your Twitch channel that way. But if you only stream on Twitch, that's not going to be good enough. It just isn't. There's there's not enough people who seek out the lower view streams and seek and watch them that also stay with those people. It might be possible, but it is not effective. And if anyone has grown that way in recent times, they are the exception and not the expectation. I'm gonna go to bed for sure. Peace out, Cosmo. Have a good night. Good night. Hate YouTube for live streams, less interactable. No channel points, emotes. Exactly, right? And so not only will they have less perks, but I will also not be talking to them, and I think that's kind of whack. At least with Twitch, I can full send being a Twitch, like doing the whole Twitch stream gig, and I can be here and present for the people who decide to show up. And so far, I like the people who showed up to my Twitch stream. Haven't had to ban too many people. YouTube, I don't read comments. There's a reason. Anyway, I've always wanted to be a streamer, but real life too busy to do all that. Word. 24/7 caregiver for my mom would be way too hard. Exactly, right? And like when you want to be a streamer, you have to be consistent. I mean, it's the same thing for content and stuff too. But at least, you know, with YouTube, you can be consistent, but you don't have to. You only have to be consistent on your upload. You don't have to necessarily do it every day. Part of the reason why I do try to get multiple videos out of a single stream is so that I can buy my time back. Because as long as the video goes up, I've done my job for the day. And if I can just stack up a queue of videos, then I might be able to buy a week of my time back, etc., etc. Or I can just keep streaming, and then if something happens, you know, I'll still be making something, even if I have to deal with real life stuff, which I've had to do in the past few months. Not really something, I haven't really disclosed the specifics of that. I'll probably keep it that way because it probably doesn't matter to too many people. But yeah. But I appreciate you being here though, even, you know, I appreciate everyone who's here when they have like crazy real life responsibilities and stuff. I'm here for the people who kind of want to like take a break from that. And sometimes listen in to stuff like this. Do you mean to make YouTube videos for VOD purposes? See, I can see since yeah, dude, you need to edit more, dude. Stop streaming. Straight up. Okay, well, not true anymore. Because Forsaken Frontiers is out. Stream all you want. Do it. I'm glad that you've actually been on top of your Forsaken Frontiers grind so far. Like 3 videos in 3 days. Fantastic. Keep doing it. I'm right here with you. It's about time to bring back the energy that we had in our early Lethal Company and put it into this game. And hope that something happens of it. I hope that Bread plays this game consistently. I mean, he is doing just fine and doing absolutely fantastic, sticking to just Lethal Company. It's insane watching that guy's growth. And what's crazy is that he started after me too. He started after, but the difference between Bread being quote unquote trapped in Lethal and me being trapped in Lethal is that Bread got trapped correctly. He got the viewership. He got the returns. I don't got it like that. Not anymore, at least. But all the power to him for being able to stick to it. Like I have infinite respect for that guy. He has that like competitive edge that I just didn't. You know, high quota was never really appealing to me until very recently, and even then I'm not really trying to be in the realm of competition with him. It's more just to kind of showcase high quota and trying to get more people into it, which has always kind of been like my angle. I try to show people like, hey, wait a minute, maybe doing this, maybe playing this game this way could actually be a fun way to do it, instead of just like the default way that you would normally play the game. That was true for Lethal Company, true for Forsaken Frontiers, true for Dead by Daylight, true for everything that I do. Yeah, the beta was fantastic, and actually that was the first time I even played with like all the Lethal Company people that weren't Nico and Larry. And now I talk with all of them somewhat regularly, and it's fantastic. But shoutouts to Bread. I hope he does play this game. And I mean, he got to play this game before I did. He was in the very first playtest. And even in his comment section on YouTube, it's people just shitting on Forsaken Frontiers. And on Bread for comparing it to Lethal Company. Bread did say this game is better than Lethal Company or something similar on his stream title for it. But I'm sure him and I both knew that was coming. It's what we expect at this point. Obviously, we would love if those expectations were broken, but I don't have a lot of faith in that. What's funny is that, well, actually, I won't bring that part up, but let's just say, Well, how about we continue with the game? Yeah, let's do that. I have 800 or 80,000 in debt, so I need to make $800. Currently have 258 in the bank. Oh, unlocked metro is pretty spicy. Do I have a good hospital? Hell no, I do not. Tunnels is not the play. I think I have to go to metro and then hope that hotel or hospital is gonna do well for me. I want to see Lamb in this game. I think we need to see Lamb in general. Last I heard, I think Lamb's kind of MIA, and people haven't really heard from him, so I hope he's doing okay. Stop comparing. Comparing, you know, I think comparison isn't good for a lot of things, but it's like an easy topic of conversation, I guess, that usually ends in negativity. Not a gaming exclusive thing, it's just a thing. I think, like, there's a quote that says, like, comparison is the basis of all evil or something like that. And that's true. So the people who say that I shouldn't compare Forsaken Frontiers to Lethal Company, they have some credence to that. Maybe say, like, putting Scarier Than Lethal Company or talking about Lethal Company in my video showcasing Forsaken Frontiers was a mistake. But I am primarily a Lethal Company content creator that appeals to Lethal Company people, and that is exactly why I did it. Because people don't watch my non-Lethal Company stuff, so trying to get them to watch it. But yeah, I didn't know he was missing. I haven't talked to Lamb much outside of, you know, the playtest. But that's what I've heard anyway. So I hope he's doing okay. I'm just busy meeting IRL Quota. That's good to hear then. You know, we all game at the end of the day. But real life priorities, real life takes priority. Which is why gaming content creation was appealing to me, because it kind of blurs the lines between real life priorities and playing a video game. I might not make as much as I did at the start, but I make enough and I do it playing video games. I don't have to wait until my workday is over to enjoy a video game. Literally, loading up the video game is my workday. So, people can hate on me all they want, they can point out my lack of viewership, but it pays the bills. And I think there are people out there who would love to do what I do, which is why a lot of the talks that I have are about encouraging people to actually at least give it a shot and to give it a real go. Not to just make one video and then be like, oh damn, I didn't get any views, and then give up. You know, because for most people, if you weren't positioned at the beginning of a viral niche or something, you actually have to put in effort. Like, at the end of the day, yes, I am just playing a video game. But in order to, like, grow a presence doing anything, video games included, you actually do have to put some effort into it. You know, I've done a lot of YouTube homework. I did a lot of homework in the Lethal Company content space. And all the numbers that I get from my videos, you know, I take a look at them and I keep them in mind. And I make decisions based off of it. Comments or whatever, depending on who it comes from, I'll add weight to it or take no weight at all. Because the numbers speak to me louder than a lot of the comments do. But sometimes the comment will, here and there, I'll actually, like, take to heart because it might mean something. But all the hater shit I really don't care about too much. Yeah, and to think that I left sushi to do this, you know, it's more like, the thing about being in food is that you can only be in food for as long as you are healthy enough to withstand, like, the kitchen atmosphere. Because being a chef of any caliber is very physically demanding, minimum. And it's also mentally demanding too. So if I were ever to get injured to any point, then that's just the end of my career for the most part. Unless I have already, like, you know, unless I've gone a bit more hands-off with the business, which wasn't going to happen anytime soon. And I had to think about whether or not I wanted to build this food business to the point where I can be more hands-off, or if I just, you know, do the video game thing. And I had to think, I was like, why would I want to be more hands-off with the food thing if I could have time to do something like this? So how about just be completely hands off with the food thing and just do this? Obviously, like, you know, the timing was good. I was having those thoughts around the time when my Lethal Company channel started getting more views. But my Lethal Company channel wouldn't be getting views if I didn't at least put in the work to output those videos. 'Cause I was outputting videos every day, left and right. And when I was doing more short form videos, I was uploading multiple videos a day. So I was trying to figure out like different upload times and different content angles and seeing which ones stuck. Like, it was insane. I think the first 3 or 4 days I uploaded Lethal Company content, I uploaded like 20 or 30 videos. Obviously, they were just clips from my stream. But I'm not a person who thinks that if I'm going to do short form content, like 30-second clips, that I'm just going to upload one a day. I'm going to be uploading at least 3 to 8 or something. Because how am I going to stream for like 4 to 6 hours and only get 1 clip out of it? And if I stream every day, I should be stockpiling on clips. And if I'm not stockpiling on clips, then my 4 to 6 hours weren't interesting. And I have a whole different problem than upload consistency. Like, why did I stream this video game for 4 to 6 hours and not be interesting? And when you're not interesting, you can't expect if you're not even interesting to yourself, how are you gonna be interesting to other people? I've also said that being interesting as a content creator is a skill that you can learn. You're not doomed to be boring. You can learn it. You can learn to be a yapper, a professional yapper who plays video games or uses video games as their platform. A lot of people give up if their views aren't high. Yeah, and wait, dang, I kind of want to stop playing the game and start talking about this stuff, because I've said it before. Like, specific video games, I don't like that. The way I'm passionate about specific video games, that is ephemeral. It's just in the moment thing. I was very passionate about Lethal Company for a long time. That time has passed. Now it is now Forsaken Frontiers. We'll see for how long. I am absolutely passionate about this game. But one thing that is behind all of those, including Dead by Daylight, is building a platform, like a personal brand channel, YouTube channel, etc., where you can just kind of be yourself and build from that. And that is something that I can talk about all day. You can ask Nico, you can ask Larry, you can ask people who've been here for these Yap sessions throughout the past year. That is something that I will just never shut up about, and is what I was going to get into, like, before Lethal Company started taking off. Lethal Company, I kind of just leaned more into the gaming stuff because I had an opportunity to do so. My original intention with making like YouTube content and stuff was to go more towards the educational side, because I think that's a bit more evergreen. That's something that I can just talk about all the time. It's just now that when I talk about it, you know, there's a little bit more credit behind what I say now that I've at least gone and built a somewhat respectable online presence for myself. That is something that I didn't entirely have before Lethal Company, at least at scale. Like, on a local level, I was able to conduct a lot of business through just my Instagram account, which only has about like 1,000 followers or so. But it didn't matter because my audience was completely local, and my goal wasn't to make money through ad revenue or anything. It was to make money selling food and bringing people to the restaurant, bringing people to my events. Oh. Well, that goes to show how good the butcher's vision is. He saw me from all the way over there. Yeah. But as far going back to the views not being high, it's best to go in to the starting point thinking you're gonna get no views at all. You don't do it for the views. You do it to improve your presence on camera as a content creator and to get your reps in. You don't need views to improve as a content creator. Views are the metric that you can measure yourself once you start getting them. But you need to make videos, you need to talk or whatever. You need to make content before you can start worrying about views. I think worrying about views off rip is a trap. And especially like, at least for people in my generation who have a somewhat decent Instagram following, if you post on Instagram to your friends and you see views on there, and then you start posting on YouTube and seeing no views there, that's gonna be discouraging. But the thing is, on Instagram, no matter what you post, your friends and family are gonna like and interact with what you got. When you post somewhere else, you're not posting to your friends and family, you're posting to the internet. But at the same time, there's a reason why only your friends and family are liking your Instagram stuff and why you're not gaining more than the 100, 200 likes or whatever you get on Instagram. It's because it's only people who know you that are liking your shit. There's no new audience. And if you want to grow, you need to appeal to new audiences. It is what it is. That's why I didn't post on Instagram, even though I had a following. I need to build something else separately. I'm gonna promote the game, and shorts is one of the best ways to show it off to the largest audience possible. Yes, I'm actually I've talked a long time about how I am very strictly long-form content. I'm probably going to change my tune for Forsaken Frontiers. I probably should have done that leading up to this. That was a misstep on my part, most likely. But it was, you know, I kind of just got to roll with the punches now. Very curious to see how Forsaken Frontiers does on shorts. What got me into food, and specifically sushi. I was able to do sushi because my uncle started a sushi catering business even before I was born, a couple years before I was born. So sushi and sushi catering specifically has always been like a big part of my life. And as soon as I got my driver's license, I started training under him, like during like vacations in school or whatever. I was working 2 jobs already while I was in high school. I worked at a snack bar at my local baseball field, and I was doing sushi catering. And it was kind of a cool thing to do, right? Like, I was a high schooler who was rolling sushi. Not very common. And that, like, when you're in high school and like social cred matters a lot, even though it really shouldn't in hindsight, it was cool being able to tell people that I was a sushi chef. Which in hindsight, too inexperienced to call myself a sushi chef. I now have way too much respect for the title of chef to call myself a bona fide one. That's actually why I spell chef the way that I do. One of 2 reasons anyway. Second reason is because chef was my Melee tournament name, and I figured that there was someone with the default spelling of chef already, so I just differentiated it. But it's also because I have a hard time calling myself a proper chef, which is something that I will eventually make a whole thing about, but it is what it is. So for a long time I was already rolling sushi, and then I went away to school. I was studying game design in college, realized that I could just be working a real job and making money instead of like going into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt for something that I wouldn't even know would actually pay out, when I had this opportunity already to go into the sushi business and then actually see some returns. Especially because once I went to college, that's when I started rethinking about what kind of life I should be leading. The only reason I went away for college rather than doing community college, was 2 reasons. One, I was a very high-performing high school student, at least as far as my report card went. You know, I was like top of the class for the most part, 4 point whatever GPA. And the thing that high-performing high school students are supposed to do in America are go to expensive colleges and get a corporate job afterwards and work for a corporate for the rest of your life with a 6-figure salary. There's probably aren't 7-figure salaries unless you are a CEO yourself. But I eventually realized that I didn't really want to do that corporate lifestyle. I wanted to kind of lead my own life in a way. That's why I did game design. My ideal outcome was that I make a video game and get so big that I never have to work for anyone. So in a way, Zeekers is kind of living the life that I wanted for myself way back when. But the second reason is because I didn't have like the greatest family life, I would say, around that time. Got kicked out of both my parents' houses at 18 and didn't agree enough with them to want to stick around. So I went across the United States, away from hometown, away from everybody. And then because my reason for leaving was because I wanted to get away from people rather than dive deeper into my education, college didn't work out. So I came back, started working in food, and started diving a lot more into sushi catering and event planning. And that's what I did for a while. And then at some point, realized food wasn't for me. Went to do a work at a courthouse where I was doing criminal record investigation type stuff. Did that for like almost 5 years. Then I went to anime event planning, and then I went back to food, realized that I liked food. Realized I didn't love food business. Still love making food. Don't like the business aspect of food. I just like feeding people and making cool shit. But that doesn't work out business model wise. And as I was looking for different solutions, I landed on becoming a Lethal Company YouTuber. If anyone wanted like the timeline of Chef Austin, because I guess it's relevant, to why I was doing sushi and why I'm not doing it anymore. But yeah. V65 just dropped for Lethal Company. Why does Lethal Company gotta keep doing this? The first time I played in the playtest, we were anxiously waiting for version 60 or whatever of Lethal Company, or version 56. I don't remember which one it was. And in the middle of day one of the playtest, people were telling me new Lethal Company just dropped. And obviously, as a Lethal Company creator, I must play the new update. It just is what it is. Lethal Company viewership goes up when a new update drops. Can't they see that I'm on a world record pace run, solo run for Forsaken Frontiers? Couldn't Zeekers have chilled for just 1 second? For one more day. One more day. Social credit, who needs it in high school? Nobody, actually. I'm sure the high school landscape is a bit different now. Honestly, if I could go back to high school, I would have just started building my own online empire instead of depending on college. I don't recommend going to a university if you don't know what you're going there for. There's so many more resources on the internet now to learn what you need to learn to be successful in life. And I think it's just better to independently study, or learn how to independently study. And even if you do end up going to a university after the fact that you have developed that skill to independently study and learn things will become invaluable to you when you do go to university, and you will be able to take advantage of all the resources there. I think if I were a better student and went back to the university that I went to, I would have excelled. I would have done just fine. I'd be in a much different place. I was not that person. I was irresponsible. I partied a lot. And yeah, you don't go to university for that. Do not fall into that trap. Take university seriously. You'll thank yourself. You can go party afterwards. Like, I know everyone says that. I'm adding my voice to that. You can have way more fun when you are a young adult in your mid-20s, in your mid-30s, and you can have all the money in the world to afford whatever you want, instead of trying to like figure out how to try to afford things. Secure that bag. There might be some credence behind those red pill people. I'm just saying. I'm behind the Sigma grind set. Just do it. College isn't for everyone, and apparently it wasn't for me either. I learned what a gap year was after I went to university. Like, you know what, that could have been cool. What if I had taken that gap year? I probably would have been doing sushi. I probably would have made that same realization. Obviously, I'm very grateful for the time that I spent in university. I had the time away that I needed, I guess. I experienced the East Coast for the first time in the seasons or whatever. I even went abroad to London and Europe and stuff, and learned stuff and did stuff out there that I wouldn't have been able to do. And I was introduced to a lot of different like worldviews and perspectives that I wouldn't have been if I stayed in my hometown of San Diego. There are a lot of closed-minded people here in San Diego. There are a lot of closed-minded people everywhere. The important part is to go experience a bunch of different perspectives. And I came back a more open-minded person, I'd say. Though I'd say I learned a lot more being in business, or being in the food business, and everything else. Make sure you have sushi at home. I'll go out and eat sushi, but it is a lot of work just to make sushi for myself. I'm not like, when I make food for myself, my dishes take less than 10 minutes to make from start to finish. It is what it is. But when I make food for other people, I pull out all the stops. But for me, it's just, is it nutritionally fine? Does it not cost a lot? And will I be able to get back to my computer faster? That's what I look for. Sketchy's update. Ooh, another Sketchy's update. Ooh. Hey. Alright, Nico, we might actually have to play Sketchy's soon. When all this Forsaken Frontier stuff passes, I'm going to be starting to make time for other games. I have to leave for health issues. Hard as fuck. University is not supposed to be easy. I think if your university is easy, then maybe you're not at the right one, or I don't know. But also, when you like, people say that what degree you have doesn't matter. What matters more that you have one. I don't know if that's true nowadays, because I have a lot of friends who are doing that job hunt who have degrees and just aren't getting their jobs. I think skill sets are probably valued a lot more, and you do not need a degree to gain most skill sets that people are looking for. Obviously, you're trying to be a doctor or something, or a lawyer. You got to go do that rodeo. But there are a lot of ways to make money nowadays, especially modern ones, especially online ones. You do not need a degree to do that. Do not go to school for business. Just don't do that. If I could go back, I'd probably go back to school for finances or like microeconomics. Then that stuff that'll apply everywhere. And I'd probably be a lot better with about my money if I did that. DoorDash that sushi. I'm not opposed. I've been in sushi for a long time. I'll eat it every way. Obviously, I have a deep appreciation for sushi done properly. There's a decent amount of omakase here in San Diego. But if I would be lying to you if I said I was the kind of person who couldn't go to town on like deep fried rolls and all the basic shit. There's a reason why that stuff's popular. Degrees don't matter in the end, it's the knowledge. Exactly. Knowledge, skill set, and also being able to, you know, have proper relations with people, like business and social interactions. Those are valued way more. A lot of the work you have to do anyway is taught on the job. Like, you're not going to go into a job knowing the specifics that's needed, that's required. All they need to know is that you're someone that's good to work with and can actually learn the shit if you have a training for it. Also, another friend once prepared for me and friends food that took them 3 to 4 hours to set up and make. It was actually a lot more than that too. A lot of time went into that kushiyaki dinner, especially since I had never done like charcoal grilling prior to that. So I did a lot of homework to make sure that that menu worked out well. And I'm really happy with how that one turned out as well. But yeah. New map in the Sketchies update and the Halloween event and skins. Goddamn. Wait, I just realized that I don't have the Halloween stuff anymore. It is now 3 hours into the stream, and I am just now realizing that the Halloween decorations are not here. Wait a minute. Huh? Did anyone else notice? Anyone else notice? Just me? I think what happened is that I'm so used to this environment that it just didn't register as different for me. But I wonder if people who picked this game up for the first time loaded into the game in this new update and realized that all the Halloween stuff is gone. Or is it just... Did I load in and it was there? I don't entirely remember. I couldn't tell you in full confidence. Oh well. Also, welcome back, Cupcake. I was talking about how there's no Halloween decorations anymore. And I don't know if they were always not here for this stream and I just didn't notice. Okay. Maybe it was the hotfix, because they did roll out a hotfix today to at least attempt to fix Black Screen of Death. I don't know if anyone's gotten it since then. But let that be a show to the dev's character that literally the second day of the game, they already released a new patch. They already lowered the price of the game. They are actively on this shit. It's still in there? Oh, okay, then must be a bug. Maylene, help. Actually, don't help. I think it's fine like this. I can actually see. It's fine. There's still a pumpkin here. Look. Maybe at some point it goes away. Because clearly, you know, there's still some stuff here. Ooh, Surplus Hotel. Oh, that is interesting. Surplus Hospital. How much debt do I have to go in to go here? I might go to the Surplus Hospital, guys. I think I have to. And I think I will buy bolt cutters. I think I'm gonna double down. Dio, Maylene, and B. B-Woof. I actually haven't talked to B-Woof at all. They're not very active in the Discord, if at all. I mostly talk with Maylene, who now goes by Vi or V or Vi, which I think is short for Vixen. And I have DM'd Dio a few times. But most of my interactions with Dio have been here in Twitch chat and over Discord. But Maylene, I've regularly played Dead by Daylight with and hung out with, at least over Discord and stuff. Okay, we are tripling down here. I mean, $800 on Surplus Hotel should be light work, especially that I have bolt cutters and an adrenaline. Why Maylene switch the names? No idea. Never asked. But that's like one of her old names too. Maybe to summon a different energy pre-release or something, I don't know. Same reason why I switched my name from UFO to Rose. Or from Flow Money to Nico Flow Flow Live. Or from Flow Money to Nico Flow Flow to Nico Flow Flow Live. Nico's the man of many names. This is why I bought the bolt cutters, by the way. So I can go into these security rooms without alerting, you know, the horde. But if I get enough of these, I should be all set. I'm gonna learn too if going to a surplus place affects the remaining value at a location. Because the fact that I'm going to surplus hospital at 100% remaining value is almost a throw. In the fact that if I go back to hospital now, it won't be at 100% value, which is kind of a shame. But it won't be the end of the run, or end of the world or the run. I already have $431. Like, this is why hospital's fantastic. And honestly, I just got here too. Especially surplus hospital in particular. $600. I'm gonna have to make more than 800 because if I'm gonna go back to hospital 2 more times, I'm gonna need some money to do that. I'm trying to not use my bolt cutters on doors that aren't security doors, just to kind of maximize my bolt cutter value. But if I need to in order to progress, then I will. But so far I don't need to yet. Because bolt cutters are... They don't last infinitely. They do have a certain amount of charges. I don't know if it's a consistent amount yet. It seems to be a variable amount. That might be something that I ask Maylene or something. But I would, if possible, like the best case scenario, I only unlock security doors to maximize the value. Hold on. Speaking of real life friends that I haven't talked to in a while. Hi Lloyd, happy you're still here. Hold on. Third security door of the run. Like, we're just easily clearing 1K. But this is why I played so slowly and trying to make sure I can get here. Because now imagine if I go down and I don't have an adrenaline. That would be tragic. 1200. It's not like I'm even like gaming particularly hard, you know. It's just kind of like the natural progression of looting the hospital as a solo player. Obviously it's surplus, so this is more loot than you should expect from here. But damn, I'd be lying if I said that wasn't good. I like this room too because of this double locker setup. Tends to be a decent amount of loot. The opposite one though is a bit scarier. Because these rooms are always across from each other. Then there's usually a vent right there, but there isn't one this time. But there is a door over here. Library room's good too. Has drawers and stuff. Has desks usually that you can hide under. Has usually a vent right there too. Seeing a lack of vents, which is nice. I might go through there, I don't know. I would like to see an elevator sometime soon. I'm not expecting one. I'm not that far into the map. But it would be nice. This desk setup is kind of nice also. The people in the Lethal Company speedrunning group tend to ignore this tile because they just keep running straight until they find security doors or whatever, or more loot dense tiles, but that's pretty dense for like the small area that you have to check. So I'm not upset with that. Okay. Oh, that's unfortunate. Have I tried Nightmare yet? Yeah, not... Well, I played some Nightmare with Nico and Creef yesterday. At some point I'll be doing solo Nightmare. But I like Nightmare mode. I actually think Nightmare is pretty solid for solo also. Especially, like, it is double the enemies, but I mean, like, if you're comfortable with navigating the enemies, it's not crazy bad. But the loot is insane. I like Nightmare mode. That's not good. I have to go somewhere else now. Question is where? Hopefully there's another path for me. What the fuck? Okay, well that's both of them. Maybe I just go all the way back, huh? I'd rather not lose this run. Because this is backwards. I mean, quick 1.9k. Or 1.9k. 1900. Good enough. How's it going, Anthran? DVD in 10 minutes? I might still be playing this game in 10 minutes. Need to be a two-band Billy? I've been a two-band Billy before. Oh, what sucks though is that I'm definitely not selling that at 70%. Hell no. Oh wait. Oh shit, I might have actually needed to be a two-band Billy. I need to get... Oh, I kind of threw. I did need to go. I did need to go for more. That's tough. Shambler shouldn't have scared me then. What do I do here? I don't think I can afford to go into an extra $1,000 in debt. If I do this, 1484 minus 250, I'll be at 1234, and I'll have to make like 1.5k on an 82% dread hospital. Shit, okay. Or if I don't sell, I'll have to make 3,600. To make I have to make less if I do this. Okay, we have to do Dread Hospital. Well, whatever happens, happens. So Dread is a negative modifier where you will always hear the breath mechanic. So you'll never actually know if monsters are nearby or not based on your breath. Which isn't the worst thing ever. Because, you know, I'm not really looking or using the breath mechanic to determine if enemies are near me. Because you can usually hear them coming before that even happens. The only one it's really helpful to identify is the Shambler. But even then, you know, I heard the Shambler started screaming at me before I even noticed that it was nearby. So take what you will from that. Also, after even if my run ends in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to be editing Forsaken Frontiers too. I need to make sure that this goes up. I'm going to edit and start my monster guide editing. I haven't even written... Okay, a door opened to my right. That wasn't me. Still gonna walk that way though. I'm kind of just walking in on the Forsaken Frontiers grind, both as a player and as a content creator for it. Primarily though, as content creator, that's always been like the #1 priority for me. So, Dead by Daylight slightly on hold. Speaking of Dead by Daylight, thanks for the raid, Tipper Cod. I don't actually know if he's ever touched Dead by Daylight. Oh, well, there's a Shambler right there. Damn it. Alright. Let's go this way. I think I have some time to make some distance. Hopefully he doesn't come this way. But for those just joining in, I'm currently playing Forsaken Frontiers. I'm on a solo run. Forsaken Frontiers is a horror extraction game that just came out yesterday. Very similar gameplay loop to Lethal Company. And apparently it's supposed to be... or the current community consensus is that this game isn't tuned for solo play. I disagree, and that is why I am here today doing a solo run. Kind of showcase some strategies and how to play this game solo compared to multiplayer. Yep. Tipper, hope you had a good stream, man. Appreciate the raid. Tipper Cod. Okay. I'm currently in a not so good situation though. I left the last map a little too early because I was focused on yapping and not on looting. So I need to, in order for me to beat this debt cycle, can you not jump up here anymore? No, I was just bad. I need to get at least 1,500 in loot and bring that back to the train. I'm only a third of the way there, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to start making some gamer moves. Okay. So I have to go back towards the Shambler, unfortunately, so I might be drawing the entire hospital spawns over here. Hopefully he's already turned the corner here. He was at the end of this hallway. I don't see him anymore, but he might have just turned into one of these rooms or something. I feel like I gave him enough time to pass though. So I'm hoping he's not over here. I don't think the enemies turn around in their pathing, and I am proceeding with that assumption in mind. Now this is... Thanks for the follow, Ben. This is the door that the Shambler came through, and I said before, earlier in this run, that enemies tend to come from progress. So I'm gonna walk this way. And thank you for the follow as well, Mr. Mirages. Mr. Mirages here. For those unacquainted, I also play Lethal Company. I would say Lethal Company is still my primary game. But if this game can take off like I think it will, or that I think it can, I would love for this to be my main game as well. At least, you know, have two main games, Lethal Company and Forsaken Frontiers. I think there's a world where they can live side by side in my library and on my YouTube channel, and definitely the Twitch channel. Yeah. Now I have to start opening... Well, do I have to start opening doors? Me opening that door, or that door being closed, means that the Shambler didn't come from here. I don't think that door was open either. So the Shambler must have spawned in this room and then started walking. So now I'm a little uncertain about where to progress. Okay, I hear the spider now. He's behind me somewhere that way. Which must mean, like... Oh, he's real close, actually. He's right there, behind this door. Will he open it, though? Is the question. Okay. Opening this door will aggro the spider, so if I open it for him, I will hide under this desk. Let's do that. Maybe it didn't aggro him. Maybe he was too far still. Then maybe he's not here. Aw, that sucks. I am gonna use this though. I know it's a dead end. But it would suck if I came all the way here and didn't get anything out of it. 2 o'clock. I might have to start moving a little bit faster. Because I'm still about 900 short. And I'm not allowed to be 900 short today. Especially since I already used my Pentagon run. I might double down today. Like, if the run ends here, I'll probably go to Nightmare mode and see what the difference is like. No, especially now that Dipper's viewers are here. Wouldn't want... Oh, did I already do this? Dang. Oh no, there's something down here. Wouldn't want to end stream right after a raid. I'm also down to just send it again, too. Maybe I'll focus a little bit harder in Nightmare mode, we'll see. I'm still gonna walk, though. I think I can cover enough ground while walking, maybe. Ventress can spawn. It is Ventress hour. Maybe I played a little too safe this time around. Like, the fact that I had both Shamblers... Like, thinking back to the last day, the fact that I knew where both Shamblers were was a good thing. Oh, there's a spider. Where did he come from, though? Oh, I didn't go this way yet. Cool. Hopefully he doesn't follow me this way. Let's see. Nice. Is there an elevator here? Oh. Okay. Hopefully there's progress this way. That's all I can ask for. We can probably walk now. We're probably outside of the spider's range. Walking is a little bit faster than crouching everywhere, so... And moving a little bit faster is going to be in my best interest at this time. I need more security doors. I haven't had a lot of alarm doors to, like, go through yet. This door's open. Maybe the spider came from here. I'm just happy I haven't seen the Ventress yet. Why is this song playing? To scare everybody. I don't know if there's any reason other than for atmospheric purposes. But isn't it atmospheric though? Doesn't it just increase the tension to levels that you'd prefer weren't there? Why you gotta be so serious when I need so much more money? I think I got another elevator, which is nice. I was just about to say that the elevator is kind of far now. That'll be 6 o'clock. Train horn goes off. I need a few security. Now I'm actually getting into needing security door territory. Okay, we'll play a little fast. I am a little worried to play fast though, because if I happen to run next to a Ventress, she will just pop on me. I do have my adrenaline to save me, but I can only go so far. We're going down another level. Oh god! No, I have to go past him though. But what can I loop him on? I'm injured too. Shit. I don't know if that was fast enough. No. Okay, so the Forsaken work differently in this patch. In that they now navigate solo. There's now 3 instead of 5 of them. And instead of needing 2 of them to down you, they just injure you like the Butcher does. Oh, that's tough. I have to... I don't have enough. But now I'm behind him. I have to make a play. But how do I get past him? Okay. How's your sound? Oh, you're just visual. Oh god! Oh god! You're not just visual. You're not just visual. No, I didn't slam him in time. Oh no. Okay, that was tough because I had to play a bit more aggressive and outplay him, unfortunately.
Pay immediately, or there will be
So yeah, I didn't have enough. I would have needed to pay 2680. If I came back, I would have had only 2200. So I guess first try in solo on endless game mode takes me to day 13. And we'll try again. I think I can do a lot better than that. But for now, that'll be the end of this one. Let's go do nightmare mode now.